Have you got the notes, Hunter?
What, like in an email? Or the ones that you posted
I've
here in
put
the
them.
chat?
I put them in the podcast chat, and I messaged you in our band chat, and
I don't have any messages in the band chat, but I see the notes here.
And then he called you, then he sent you an email, then he called you about the email he sent you.
He could call, but he just doesn't.
Welcome to Two Titans and a Hunter, a Destiny 2 podcast, a show where we discuss tips, tricks, and tools to help all Guardians succeed and enjoy playing more. So, what makes us different, you may ask? Well, we're not streamers or YouTubers. We just have a passion for Destiny and are dedicated to keeping Guardians informed and up to date with all the latest Destiny 2 news and information and opinions. We encourage your questions and feedback. You can contact us either by email at twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com or on Twitter at twotitans_hunter. Now, on with the show.
so welcome to the podcast, guys. Nice to have Peroty back and to facilitate our Hunter Master race.
Yo.
Yeah, it's good to be back. Good to be back virtually together again this week.
Yeah, virtually together. Yeah, that's what I like.
And spiritually.
73 weeks of virtually togetherness.
73 weeks.
Closer than family.
There's 52 weeks in a year, so we've been doing this for almost a year and a half. Yo. Time flies.
Something like that, yeah. So welcome, as I said, I'm the British guy, Night Demon. Peroty is our facilitator, one of our American hosts, and Respawn is our hunter from the bayous.
Yes, that's true.
Accurate, actually.
That is how we will refer to you going forward. You are Respun Hunter from the Bayous.
Respun Hunter from the bayous. I can get behind that.
Yeah.
I was trying to come up with some rebuttal, but it's completely accurate.
It's too late. It's too late. We're there now. We're into the podcast. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, you could also say the swamps too, because there's swamps in Louisiana and Florida, so there's that too, right?
Yeah, but Bayous way more fun a word.
It is.
Yeah.
It absolutely is, but it's limited to Louisiana, I'm pretty sure.
Right, we have got
I'm sure we can Bayous elsewhere.
We've got an absolute packed show this week. There is so much to talk about. But as I think I messaged Peroty during the week, maybe we should kind of condense what actually happened this week down to what people actually want to know this week.
Which
Fair?
is everything.
They don't want to know everything. They've probably seen all the other videos and listened to all the other podcasts and had everybody else's opinions. They don't need opinions. They need the facts. They need the cold, hard facts. They need to know what's going on, what's happening, and what they can do now. That's what they need to know.
Yeah, we'll talk about the incoming Destiny Vault later on once that becomes a thing, or maybe next week when we don't have an entirely new season to cover. But yeah, if you've all gone to Bungie.net, you've watched the videos, you've read the things, you see the upheaval that's coming, which planets are going away. We were sort of right, but we were didn't have quite a large enough knife out when we were thinking about cutting up planets.
No. So should we kick off with what happened last week with the Almighty event? Respawn and I were both chatting away about 2 hours before it actually happened, and Respawn came up with the magnificent idea of maybe stopping the podcast and coming back to it when the event started. I'm quite glad that we didn't do that, because to sit for an hour and a half with the Respawn just like
twiddling our
something
thumbs.
happening.
Because we couldn't even play the game, because if you play the game, you can't watch what's happening. It was ridiculous, man.
Yes, you could. You pull up somebody else's stream off to the side so you can keep tabs on what's going on.
Yes, but that's not you experiencing in game, is it?
Exactly.
No, but when things start to happen, then you go back to the tower.
So you didn't experience it at all because you were out doing stuff.
I experienced it the same way that other people did, through Ebontis' Twitch and chatting with Pan, also watching someone, probably Ebontis' Twitch, and I experienced it through third party and watching Twitter being like, so we're here. Okay, we're still here. Okay,
now what?
We're still here.
Right.
I just had to laugh because all the conversation I saw about, okay, Bungie, you said be there at reset. Do you mean like reset immediately, or like reset in the time zone, or like, well, when does the tower refresh? Does the tower refresh like right to reset, or is it a little bit later? Because in my experience, it's like 15 minutes after the official reset time. Right. Turns out everybody moot point because Bungie thought about all that.
What was it Luke Smith said? Luke Smith said afterwards, he said, oh, it's like doors open at 8, but the band doesn't actually play till 8:30, 9 o'clock. He's like, we didn't kind of communicate that to us. It was be there at 8. Just be there at 8. No more, no less. That was it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's one thing he talked about in the interview with Dr. Lupo. Yeah, basically, yeah, like likening it to a live, comedy show or a concert, saying, if we didn't write a reset, then we'd have millions of people screaming, "Oh, we didn't have enough time. I couldn't get in. I was stuck on a queue."
Oh, you'd have had enough
Speaking of
time. By
which-
the time that thing fired all its javelins at that spaceship, there was enough time to go back to the EDZ, do a mission, come back, and still see it working. To be honest, I thought I'll record a bit for the podcast. I thought we could have that as one of the intros. And I started at 10 minutes to reset. And I thought, this would be over and done within like half an hour. That'd be good. The timer on the Xbox recorder ran out by the time the event started. And I'm like, seriously, that's an hour's worth of nothing. There's a few javelins flying through the sky. And my time is precious with Destiny, so I gave up. I literally gave up.
Precious is a strong word.
No, it is. I mean, if I've got a choice between if I can jump on for an hour and go and do some bounties and some strikes and try and get something out of the game rather than sit and watch a live event that still hasn't happened that I've put over an hour into, I'm going to go and play the game while I can before I then have to go and make dinner. So that's what I did. And then I watched it like Peroty did after the fact. Respawn, you actually stayed for the whole event, did you?
Yeah, me, Fuzzco, and the raid crew were all there to watch it, and then we got a raid afterwards, and we had this long discussion about what the hell they were firing. Somebody was saying, "Oh, they're lasers." I'm like, "There's no way they're lasers." He goes, "Look at them, they're lasers." I'm like, "It takes light 8 minutes to get from the sun to us. We've been watching that light show for 30 minutes. So unless they're shooting it from Alpha Centauri, I don't think those are lasers." So anyway, but yeah, we sat there and watched the whole damn thing, and it was very, very weird. And the worst part is, right, the Almighty's huge. The Almighty is freaking enormous. And a meteorite the size of a city would end all life on Earth. And yet, this thing, which is significantly larger than a city, crash landed in the mountains by the freaking tower, and yet just kind of a blast wave hit us, and that was it. It's like, really? Do you not physics, Destiny?
There were, the number of Titans in the tower? They all cast bubbles at the same time. You're welcome.
Yeah.
I was honestly half expecting it to be like Zavala and like Saint 14 combined and be like, we will all cast bubbles and like, make a giant shield around the city or something absurd.
Yeah,
What
but
was
even if
quite
that...
nice. Sorry.
No, I was going to say, even if that were true, the rest of the world would still be toast. And as soon as they brought down the bubble, we'd still have to deal with the extreme heat and dust in the sky. So casting a bubble is not going to do anything except protect us from the initial blast wave.
That sounds like the rest of the world's problem to me.
What was actually quite nice about the event was apparently about an hour before they changed the tower. So if you wandered around the tower, all the vendors were actually like grabbing hold of the rails and staring out up towards.
We saw that too, and we looked at all the vendors, but Banshee gave no cares.
Oh yeah, Banshee's tucked around the corner. He don't care. Yeah,
Banshee's a robot. He's good. He's like, I got stuff to do. Almighty, schmalmighty. Who cares?
Yeah, Hawthorne down around the other side of the tower, and so was Akora as well. They're all kind of looking out over the guardrail.
How was Lewis taking it? Was Lewis okay with it, or was Lewis worried?
I think Lewis had run off.
Lewis, come on now. Gotta stand strong in these times.
I know you're waiting for me to say something, but I have no idea who Lewis is.
Lewis is who you get your clan rooms from. Hawthorne's just there to serve Lewis, that's all.
Oh, the bird?
Mm-hmm.
The bird's name is Lewis? I didn't know that. That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
We went over this the other week.
Yeah, but I didn't retain it, therefore I didn't know it.
Probably won't retain it now.
Well, it's been given to me a second time, so usually I think I'm good by now. I think
it just continues to be new information over and over again. It's an exciting way to live life.
That's right. You habitualize information, and then you don't need to remember it. It's just a habit at that point.
I did see a couple of posts and people saying that they expected something more to do with the game after the crash. Like there was a lot of people exploring the EDZ and having a look for clues of what possibly could have happened to the Almighty if it's broken up or there was a new area.
Sir, what the hell else do you want from the game? You got a freaking emblem.
That emblem was also it was well hidden, because if you didn't go anywhere near that crash site on the side of the tower, you didn't get the pop-up that said, "Oh, inspect." And when you flew into the tower again, it said, "Oh, there's been the almighty crash, and go to the tower to collect your said emblem." But it didn't tell you who to go and collect it from or what to go and do. So I wandered around the tower. I was like, who do I need to speak to? Do I just speak to Zavala, Shaq, Saikora? No, nobody could tell me where I could get this emblem from. I had to go and look it up online. Like, oh, by the way, if you go and inspect the crash site, I was like, oh, okay. I know that's simple, but I'd like the in-game message to have said, go and inspect what's happened to the tower, and then I would have, known what I was doing.
Right.
If it makes you feel any better,
I
and
need
know it won't,
directions.
the PC crew had to yell at me about where the hell it was. They're like, it's right next to Zavala. I'm literally next to Zavala. I'm like, there's no crash site. There's no hole. It's just him and a damn statue. Oh, no, it's closer towards the...
Eververse. It missed Eververse by a whisker.
Yeah. And I'm all like, why would you tell me it's next to Zavala when it's literally next to Eververse? You got me looking in the wrong damn spot.
It's between the 2 points. Yeah. See, you guys did it wrong. You didn't do what I did, which was wait for Night Demon to tell you where exactly to go, and then you went and collected your emblem when you got home Sunday night, just in case it wasn't going to be. I'm assuming it's still available since the tower is still screwed up after reset Tuesday. But I jumped on Sunday.
I don't think it is.
I was like, okay, yes, I wasn't sure, so I jumped on Sunday night because I was like, let me at least go on and do this and claim my little emblem, even though I wasn't there in person. I was there in spirit, and
were
it's
you there?
another emblem. I was there in spirit through the power of the internet, and also very glad I didn't spend 90 minutes watching it. Or last week's podcast video would have been 90 minutes of people staring at the sun.
Yeah, man. And whenever it was coming down, after it had been wally-bopped by the robot thing, Warmind, thank you. It like started coming at us, and I was like, "Ooh, this is exciting." And then you saw it starting to curve. I'm like, "This is less exciting." And then it completely bypasses you. I'm like, "Oh, it's gonna hit the mountains. Okay, cool. It's gonna hit Earth. What's gonna happen?" And then it hits Earth, and then nothing happens. I'm like, What?
Hey.
What just happened?
I give Bungie credit, and like they said afterward, this is something. This first time they've done it is a lot of learning. It's a lot of figuring out how to sync a worldwide event for people. I appreciate that they did it. I appreciate that they went out and built this event, especially after watching the one part of the reveal stream I took away after the fact was watching. I felt so sorry for all those IT people frantically building 400 plus laptops to get out to everybody. The fact that they're still building this game from afar and doing things they've never done and going, we're going to launch it and hope for the best. So I give them credit for doing something new. Yeah, I wish there were a little bit more to it. I wish, like you've been said, there was some, okay, it's crashed. Now that's going to kick off a secret mission, or it kicks off some kind of event, or, even just a short something between then and the new season dropping, or
maybe not even that, but just a crashed site that you can go look at,
Right, yeah, just something to go and check. But hey, the fact that they at least did this event, gives me hope that they'll do more in the future. And they've learned, now that they've done it once, what worked, what didn't. Now you can do it better next time.
And speaking of knowing things that work, remember how Bungie specifically said we're not bringing back the Cosmodrome? And last week or the week before, no, it definitely was the week before that, one of you guys was mentioning, oh, maybe they'll bring the Cosmodrome back. And I said, no. Bungie specifically stated it's not coming back. And then in the reveal, they're like, oh, we're bringing the Cosmodrome back. It's like, why?
There is no never. Well, just like, I don't remember if Mark Noseworthy called out Luke Smith, or if Luke Smith called out himself saying, hey, we said we're going to bring the Exo Stranger back. Our story is done. Then I started looking and said, hey, there's this character that fits really nicely into this, not born of light whole thing. And we're going to slot her back in. So, I mean, they're writing a series of books in real time in public. So yeah, things are going to change. Take what they say with a grain of salt.
You know what I want to take? I want to take the stranger's ghost. That shell.
It's not a ghost.
It's not a ghost.
Oh, I
sad
still want
face
that
emoji for you.
I want that too, but yeah, and Luke Smith actually, and just so you think we're not, completely talking out of our heads. Luke Smith, that object. I know we're going to have a lot of questions about it, and I'm not going to talk too specifically about them, but the stranger is not forged in light. The stranger does not have a ghost. So Dr. Lupo said, that's not a ghost. Luke says, that is not a ghost. That is something different. And that's kind of where we're going to leave that for now. But for sure, it's not a ghost.
But we can still have a ghost shell that looks like it, right, guys?
No, he also said that it's something that you won't be able to acquire this year or next year. So maybe it's something coming 2021, like the full expansion for 2021.
Yeah, because they said she's going to debut. The Stranger will be back in the Beyond Light.
Yes, it's not going to be available in Beyond Light.
Yeah. So she's not part of the season arrival at all. Just a little teaser in there to ding all that out, and then forget about it for another year.
So I know we might be confusing people who suddenly jumped from the Almighty. We're now talking about the reveal event, which happened when the servers went down. Luke Smith and Mark Noseworthy did a little chat about social distancing, and then went on to reveal 3 new years of Destiny. And from that, there was an interview with Dr. Lupo, who's quite a big streamer, afterwards with Luke Smith, the game director. And he revealed a few more details, which is what Peroty was alluding to. So there is a few new things that are going to be coming in September at least. We're going to be getting a new subclass called Stasis. And I looked it up on the internet. Stasis, as a dictionary meaning, a period of state of inactivity or equilibrium, a slowing or stoppage of normal flow of bodily fluids. But in the videos, it looks more like an ice ability.
Yeah, but there's another definition for stasis, and it has to do with time manipulation too. So you gotta factor that into your equation.
I just want to be an Ice Titan.
Right.
That's all I want.
In the dictionary, it says nothing about time manipulation.
No, but fine. Forget it. You don't want to believe me? You don't have to listen to me.
All I'm going to say is,
did you not listen to the first bit I just said? A period of a state of inactivity.
Yeah.
No? Okay.
Yeah, I heard that. And I'm also letting you know that stasis also has to do with freezing time as well.
Right, okay.
I just want to say that as part of the Frozen clan, I just want to be an Ice Titan. So let it go, guys. Let it go.
So this is going to be different for each class, apparently. You're going to be able to customize these subclasses. So they're going to be more customizationable than the D2 subclasses that we've currently got, but not as in depth as the Destiny 1 subclasses. So if anybody from D1 remembers, there was quite a lot of customization that you could do with your subclasses and how you wanted to run them individually with Arc, Solar, and Void. And then when we came over to Destiny 2, it was kind of structured into those diamonds of what you can do, and you just had to select the diamonds. Whereas in Destiny 1, it was more like you could select one node from about 6 in the row, and then go across the line, and then build your own kind of subclass to what you wanted to do. But it's not going to be as in depth as that. They also said that the current subclasses aren't getting a rework this year. And good news, new grenade type. So lots of frozen grenades.
I'm in. If I can just be an Ice Titan come Beyond Light or when Stasis drops, I'm never going back.
I am very curious about the Hunter Super. Did you see that? They said it looks like a roaming super, but I could throw those scythes like you Titans can throw hammers. That would be a freaking game changer. I hope it's just not a one and done like every other freaking, ranged ability that hunters have, tether, golden gun, etc. Right? I hope it's not a one and done. I hope we can keep slinging them like you Titans sling hammers, because that would be dope.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see what it is, and also just like 19 alluded to, them giving us more flexibility with the subclass. And yeah, it's not going to come to the other 3 yet, but if this works well and they do move into the more of that action RPG side of the house, if we can build that class a little more to our liking, and that's the thing that they do well and the community likes, they'll hopefully bring to the rest of the subclasses, and we can mix and match a little bit more, because I would love to mix up my subclasses a little bit. It gets stale playing the same 3 things every time.
Yeah. They've also said that we're going to get a new raid, which is going to be set in the Deepstone Crypt. So Ibontis and Lord Cognito from the Last Word podcast kind of called this last week with some of the information that was being bandied around, and the tweet that DMG sent out regarding saying soon. and that referring to No Time to Explain, which was the pulse rifle that then turns into the fact that, the stranger's then coming back. So it all kind of linked. It was quite nice to kind of slowly piece those things together, listening to those podcasts last week and going, oh, if this comes true, this is going to be amazing. And it came true. We're getting a character returning from Destiny 1 that didn't have time to explain, but now she has time to explain in the trailer. So that's good. And hopefully for the September going forward, Drifter and Eris are also big parts of this new expansion that we're getting in September. Was there anything else that you guys took away from these things before we tell people to just go and watch the Vidoc?
There was a lot that was taken away from it, but I still think people should go and watch it because it's too much to cover just in our podcast today.
The only thing I'll say is, as someone who watched the reveal after the new season dropped and after he had gone through the rest of the videos, like on the 12 and stuff this week, if you've seen most of those videos and clips and trailers, you can sort of, that hour runtime of the reveal goes to about 10 or 12 minutes. So don't do what I do and sit down and go, oh, I have to, I'm going to spend the hour, I'm going to watch this whole thing. No, the first handful of minutes is them getting up to the event and the countdown and talking about how working from home is hard, which it is, trying to build a game. And then it's all video reveals and then a little bit of Mark and Luke. If they could just condense the Mark and Luke talk down, there's a little bit there, but they're being cagey and not teasing a whole lot. But there's lots coming.
But what they did reveal is the fact that Destiny 2 is going to go for the next 3 years with just being Destiny 2 and just being expanded upon, and then we'll get onto it in a second. There's going to be a Destiny content vault where they're going to be putting stuff away and maybe pulling more stuff out of. But for the next 3 expansions, we've got Beyond Light, which is September 2020. Then the following September, we've got The Witch Queen. And then for the following one in 2022 is Lightfall. So that's the next 3 years worth of big content, likened to Forsaken or Shadowkeep. And then you're going to get your individual seasons in between as well, which they've also said that they're going to try and expand on and be better than what they had for this year anyway. So there's so much excitement about what actually Destiny 2 is going to be and evolve into. And they've got literally the next 3 years planned out as well.
I actually am very excited about that. Reason being is because in this day and age, you have so many people that they make a game, they milk it for as much as they can, making DLCs and all this other stuff, and then they abandon that to start working on the next iteration. So people go out and spend $60 more on a whole new game with whole new DLC and a whole new money-making thing, right? The fact that Bungie is not just abandoning Destiny 2 to make Destiny 3 and then start a whole new IP with, a new $60 whatever, right? I actually enjoy, right? And by them doing this, I think it is an actual step closer to becoming one of those RPGs. And I'm thinking like MMO RPGs, like WoW or Guild Wars or things like that, where the world is the same for the most part, but then you get things added on and taken away, et cetera, et cetera. And now I'm getting that feel good feeling that it is in fact kind of becoming an MMO, like they said it would, by just not giving up on it and starting a whole new game.
Yeah, and that's one thing Luke Smith said. I don't remember if it was in the interview or the chat in the reveal, and basically said, we could stop. He basically, he said we could stop building Destiny 2 for leave it for dead, more or less. Start building D3, whole new system, whole new platform, whole new everything, or like you said, just continue to evolve Destiny 2. And yeah, he's like, it's got a 2 on the box. There's many other games with a 2 on the box that do quite well out there in the world too. Because people said, why don't you just rename it Destiny or Destiny whatever? He's like, it's a lot of work to rename the game and recode all those things. Why bother? Destiny 2, when they brought Destiny out, they said, we have a 10-year vision for this game, and here we are 6 years later, seeing the next 3 years. So they've got 9 of the 10 years planned out that they originally promised us, which isn't bad. So I agree with you. I'm looking forward to the evolution of D2 and not having to sort of start from scratch and start a new game and just evolve the world and remove pieces, put pieces in, and have it be that living world that they've wanted to build.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there are still games out there that don't even have a 2 in the name that are old and still do well. You know, if you have a quality game, it doesn't matter if it's 1, 2, 3, infinite, whatever, right? As long as you're investing into that game, people are still going to play it. You know, a good game is going to be a good game. Period. You know, just don't let it go stagnant. That's all.
So, if you are interested in Beyond Light, you can pre-order it at this point in time. But there is an issue on Xbox where it has been resolved now, but you may still encounter it. So once you buy your pre-order, you can download, I believe it's a ghost shell, an exotic emote, and an emblem. What you have to do is go into Manage Games and Add-ons and install the Beyond Light items in the Ready to Install area. Then relaunch D2. Then visit the Cryptarch's inventory in the tower to claim these items, because on, I think it was day 1 and day 2, it wasn't available to download in the download area on the Xbox. You could pre-order it, but that was it. And I don't know if anybody else had that issue with other platforms, but it just seemed to be that one they identified on Xbox.
No, I bought mine on PC instead of Xbox this time, which I guess now I'm finally transitioning over completely. Because I normally buy it for Xbox, and then as an afterthought later on I'll buy it for PC. But this time I just doesn't matter. Point is I didn't run across that issue on PC. I bought it and then I went back to the game and it was there waiting for me in game.
And they did confirm that it is going to be smart delivery as well. I believe that's the Xbox term for it, and probably the same for the PlayStation. So if you purchase it on your Xbox One, and then you buy an Xbox Series X, or you buy it on your PlayStation and you buy a PlayStation 5, it's upgraded to whatever platform you are on free of charge. So like they did with Call of Duty back in the day, if you bought Call of Duty on the 360, you got an Xbox One version for free because you purchased it on that and you were just upgrading it. So it's very much similar.
Yeah, that was one thing they called out. They called the intergenerational crossplay, where if you're on an Xbox, you can play with the Xbox One, the Xbox Series X, whatever they're calling it. You can play across those Xbox series. The same thing with PS4, PS5, or whatever they're calling the new PlayStation. And they did mention they are working on actual crossplay coming next year, because that's one thing Dr. Lupo asked Luke about, and he said, one last clarification. Lupo says, I won't bring up crossplay again, but it's going to be Xbox, PlayStation, PC, and Stadia all together. And Luke Smith says yes. So,
but that's not until
it's not coming. Yeah, they said like next year, so 2021 timeframe.
September 2021, probably around the Witch Queen.
Right. Yeah. So it is on the roadmap.
I don't know how they're going to do that though, because PvP on PC and Xbox, two completely different experiences.
Because they are upgrading. When you play it on Series X and PlayStation 5, it's going to be 60 frames per second and 4K. Peroty, there was one other thing that you picked up on from the Luke Smith interview. There was two things, sorry. There was two things that you picked up on from the Luke Smith interview that you've put in the notes. Dedicated servers was one of them. So Dr. Lupo asked, do we have an expectation of yes or no with timing when it comes to dedicated servers in PvP or high tick rates?
And Luke Smith basically says, basically a long answer saying there's lots of technology stuff that my English degree doesn't do a lot of good there. Basically, Destiny is built on peer-to-peer servers. So he's not saying no, but Dr. Lupo says, he says, you can say no. I'm just saying. And Luke Smith finishes this by saying, I said a version of no. It's a soft no. So the answer is no to dedicated servers, but much like Respawn said, it's not a hard no. Just because they're saying no now doesn't mean it's no forever.
Yeah,
but don't look for anything. Right, and since we're going to circle back to that for a minute, we talked about our new subclasses. They also mentioned the weapon nerfing a little bit. I wanted to call out, because Dr. Lupo asked, what was the reason behind some of the blanket weapon nerfs? We have outliers like high impact fusions, 150 RPM hand cannons, 140 snipers, and the entire weapon class gets punished for the one or two individuals that are outperforming everything else. What's the reasoning for that? And Luke Smith basically says, technology. When we built the game, we could only touch things as all hand cannons or all sniper rifles. But now they've broken out so they can do the tuning. We can touch a 150 RPM instead of a 180. We can touch certain archetypes of weapons. So as they build these technologies and systems out where they can make more fine-tuned adjustments, they're going to do that. But that's why we saw, giant class nerfs to weapons before, and now they can do a little more light hand when they're
We've
trying to go.
also seen them nerf very specific weapons too, though. So they've already shown us that they can do it as an individual basis. So I'm with that one guy that said, "Why don't you just do it again? You've done it before. You have the capability. Why didn't you do it this time?"
Right,
That's not
but
an excuse, Bungie, because you've
Maybe
done it
it was
already.
certain circumstances.
well, right. And the question is, did it require a lot of extra manual work to make that one change, or was it a system where they can just go and touch a variable and now it's done? If it's something where it took a week of work, because it was such an outlier and such a broken thing they had to fix, you don't want to put in a week of work or whatever the time is on every single individual gun. You want to build a system to replicate that. So just because they've done it once doesn't mean something they can easily do again if it's a totally custom solution. I don't know either way, but again, we saw when the game came out, they would touch entire swaths of weapons, and they're getting more granular.
Right.
And
you're right. That's more tuned to the manpower aspect of it, not the technology. Because he said, "Oh, it's the technology." No, the technology you have. Manpower might be a problem. I could understand if you said that, but it's not the technology limitation.
Just leave it.
Right. So we're going to push on to update 2.9.0.
Hang on. There's one more thing from Dr. Lupo and Luke.
Mm-hmm.
The Vault of Glass.
You mean the Vault of Glass first ever clear footage that's being revealed today as well?
No, but the Vault of Glass.
No, not that thing.
No. The first raid from Destiny 1 is going to be making its return in Destiny 2. Luke did allude to maybe barrier champions, overload champions, lots of champions in the Vault of Glass. So there may be a story beat for the reason why it is returning. But they did reveal that we are going to be getting the Vault of Glass raid returning in D2 in year 4. But it's not going to be 2020. So after Christmas, maybe it's a late Christmas present for us all. Maybe it's going to be part of the DLC coming in March. Maybe
it's part of, like they said, we're going to take things away, but we're also to bring things back. So Cosmodrome's coming back, Vault of Glass coming back. They want to have something ready to not just, oh, you're taking away half of our planets and the game changes in a giant drastic way. We're also, they want the vault to be a living, breathing thing like the Disney Vault. Things go into the vault for a while, but then they come out of the vault for a limited time. Enjoy them while they're here.
But if they're going to bring back the Vault of Glass, don't get me wrong, it's a great raid. But I care more about the Vex Mythoclast you get from it than the raid itself.
See, that's my question: does the Vault of Glass come back with its loot pool? And what do you guys? I mean, Vault of Glass, we've all talked about lovingly, glowingly. It's as someone who doesn't really raid in D2, that's the raid I've by far spent the most time in. I don't know. I've got mixed feelings about it coming back. I'm excited that people get to experience it who didn't before.
Never meet your heroes, you'll be disappointed.
Because it's so much fun, but I'm also like, yeah, but I've spent so much time in this already. I don't know if I need to relive. I don't know. I have real mixed feelings about it. And again, I don't do much raiding these days, so it's more or less a moot point for me. But what do you guys think about it coming back?
I'm more worried about if it's going to be the same vault, because they've got to make changes. Aside from just adding the champions like he was talking about, there's got to be mechanical changes to the raid. I don't think they're going to bring it back exactly the same way it was.
Maybe they'll expand it and make it bigger. It's something exciting to look forward to. Maybe it's going to be like Destiny 1, where you have the two versions. You have the normal and you have the hard. The normal you can run through, just have unlimited revives and get the basic mechanics down, and then they hit you with the hard mode, which is where you get the champions in. That's when you get access to maybe getting the Vex Mythoclast if you do a heroic clear. So, a hard mode clear.
A heroic, flawless clear gets you the Vex Mythoclast.
No, we're not going that silly. So, Peroty, why don't you tell us what happened with update 2.9.0?
Loads of things. Loads of things happened.
Okay, well, tell us about the stuff that we haven't covered, stuff that wasn't in the preview the previous week.
Right. So again, loads of things happened. Bungie teased a bunch of these. Well, first off, there's a bunch of changes to trials, but since we haven't mentioned it yet, and it probably won't be valuable to you by the time this episode comes out, Trials is canceled this week, so you can't go to Trials because apparently there's a bug where you get Flawless and you can't access the lighthouse to claim any of your loot. So Bungie has pulled the plug on Trials this week. So if you're thinking about playing Trials, don't. But like I said, by the time you hear this, Trials is over anyway. So all the Trials changes, you can read the TWAB and our episode 70 for more of those updates. And then next weekend, maybe if there's Trials, you can read about them. But on the PvE side of the house, we're going to have some Taken-infused strikes. So we've got some new strikes coming to our Nightfall Ordeal playlist. And we're going to get the Lake of Shadows, the Corrupted, and the Festering Core. They've also boosted the Ordeal power levels to match the Season 11 power caps. And the Grandmaster difficulty is coming back on July 21st. So a little over a month from today. And they've also, listened to the community's cries and increased the Masterwork material drops for the Grandmaster Nightfall. So when they come back, July 21st, completing the Platinum, Gold, Silver levels are going to give you a higher chance to drop exotics, just higher chance across the board to drop exotics. If you get a Platinum clear, you will guaranteed get 1 Ascendant Shard and 4 Enhancement Prisms with a chance for an extra shard or in 1 to 2 more prisms. A Gold level clear guarantees you 2 Enhancement Prisms and a chance for 2 more. And a Silver level clear has a chance for 2 Enhancement Prisms, nothing guaranteed. And again, those levels are the number of champions you kill through the ordeal, the higher level completion you get. Killing all of them gives you the Platinum. Killing some of them gets you Gold. Killing not all of them gets you the Silver. But again, if you're doing a Nightfall Ordeal, focus on the champions. It's going to increase your rewards. That's how the system works.
Yeah.
Did you by chance look at the light level that they upped it to now for the recommended?
It's whatever the season is, but I didn't.
No. For the Nightfall Ordeal, the high level one, it's 1100 recommended light.
Interesting. Because the cap is 1060 this season with the powerful?
1060 is as high as you can get with powerful, yeah.
Last season they did that as well, but then they ended up dropping it down and putting on the contest mode.
I'm hoping they do, because 1100 is that's 40 light higher than what we can get without the freaking artifact.
Because they said it at, I believe it was 1080 last season, and then when they saw that people were able to get their artifact up to ridiculous numbers, they thought, well, hang on a minute, why don't we just put contest mode in, cap them at 1025, say it's 1050, there's that, disparity between 25 light levels. If they do that again, if people can get up to 1060 without the light, and then maybe they're thinking that people won't be able to get to 1100 if they leave the artifact on, because that's quite a lot to get to 40 light levels.
How high have you been seeing an artifact yet? Because I think I've only ever gotten mine to like an extra 17, 18 levels.
People will definitely get there. There'll be those couple that grind through and get it up ridiculously high, but again, not most people. But yeah, the Grandmaster Nightfall is meant to be a challenge. It's meant to be like Nightfalls were in D1, where you go in with your buddies and you suck your way through it.
Dude, you don't even have to get shot to get killed. And the enemy looks in your general direction and you just die from fear.
High resilience, my friend.
No, that does not help you, dude. You still get 1 shot.
So what else?
What do you like? Disparity? Max resilience will still get you 1 shot by an ad.
Right. So we also had a big UI and UX discussion about controller button remapping. I will refer you to our last episode and also the June 4th TWAB for an in-depth version of the controller remapping, or just go to your controller settings and look at them.
Yeah. You don't like a button? Change the button.
This is one for Respawn and 19 over there on Stadia. The PC and Stadia settings, they've reorganized the keyboard, mouse, and controller settings. So now they're organized in a different way.
Oh, lovely.
We also have your gear detail subscreen has changed. So you can now, before you had to put a piece of gear on to toggle the stats between that individual gear's stat level and your overall build stats. Now you can make that same toggle on things you have unequipped. So if you're trying to make that build to max out your mobility or max out resilience or something, you can now toggle between the gear you have on and the gear you don't have on to see what your overall build looks like with the addition of that particular armor piece.
Can you break that down, Peroty? Because I've seen the part where you can toggle how it looks, right? But what do you mean? Like
stats. So it's going to toggle between. So when you have gear equipped, it'll show you the stat of that piece of gear itself. And then the stats, with the your overall stats with the gear on.
Right.
So now you can do that with the things you do not have equipped. You don't have to put things on to make that toggle now.
Oh,
I've never looked at this and done it, so I'm reading from the page and assuming other people know what they're doing because I don't look at my stats because I wear one armor set and don't care. But for you people who are building things, this seems like a good change. And another good change is we now have wrapped item containers. So a new container has been added to the inventory screen for wrapped bundles and items, making Eververse purchases easier to find. And those wrapped items also still display in the relevant areas where they showed up before, so they haven't been moved, they've just been added to a second place. So if you bought something for Eververse and it came in a nicely wrapped bundle and you go, where did I put that? Bungie's made it easier to find.
It's just below your Umbral engrams and any other engrams.
Very good. And they've also added several economy-related load screen hints to the little scroller at the bottom of the screen when you sit in orbit. And I would like this, it's nice that they're adding to that. I'd like it to see something where they could put like more breaking news and more changes. I'm guessing right now they can change sort of the list of items that scroll in there when they push updates. But it sure would be nice if, say, Trials is broken for the weekend, they could put that in there and say, hey, by the way, Trials is broken for this weekend, and sort of use that maybe in addition to the big giant, full screen splash that you can very easily click through when the game starts. Just a thought. All right. We also have a bunch of gameplay and investment changes. So we'll look at weapons first. So the Cold Heart's Longest Winter perk will now trigger through the sight and Rampart's assault barrier. The Devil's Ruin can now fire its charged shot after you activate a roaming super. The Polaris Lance's Perfect Fifth perk now works. Quickly shooting the sixth shot no longer cancels the fifth shot's explosion. The Crucible, Gambit, Vanguard, Event Package, and Gunsmith Engram Award weapon drops now pull from the shared world pool of legendaries. You can listen to episode 70 or see the 12 for May 21st for a full breakdown of what those weapons are, or at least what we think they are. All of your Cryptarchs will now have Season Pass and exotic quest weapons from Season 8 and 9. That's the Season of Undying and Dawn. So if you've missed any of those exotics from the last two seasons, from Season 8 you can get your Ariana's Vow, your Leviathan's Breath, and your Monte Carlo. From Season 9 you can get your Symmetry, your Devil's Ruin, and your Bastion. So go to Rahul, go to your Cryptarch, and he will have those available for you, which you're going to need some currency, some exotic ciphers, and things to buy, but that's where those have gone. They haven't just gone into the Destiny Vault, never to be seen again for a year. Also, your weapon ornaments have been added to collections, and there is a list of perk changes, which again, we discussed in depth in episode 70. Go listen to episode 70, or you can read through the TWAB with all of the different weapon perk changes. We will not rehash here, because we have more bug fixes to talk about. Like the Titans will no longer retain their damage resistance from a Ward of Dawn cast from extremely high platforms.
So the glitches that Cheese and Froggy and Squirrel and probably JB3 have all kind of highlighted that every other YouTuber has stolen for the last couple of months to do the Grandmaster Nightfalls. You can't do it anymore, unfortunately.
It's over. And here's another fun one. Titans will no longer find themselves having their Fist of Havoc melee replaced with a sword swing.
I haven't had that one.
I haven't had that one either, but I guess if you cast your Fist of Havoc and go to melee, you were sword swinging all of a sudden. I'm not sure to what effect since there's no sword, but hey. You Warlocks, you're going to have a significantly harder time hitting yourself with the handheld Supernova in the air. So I don't know what significantly harder time is. You apparently can still keep hitting yourself, but it's harder now. And quick little armor reminder, your Powerful Friends armor mod will no longer stack. They were never meant to stack. They're not going to stack. You can still stack them, but each one will provide no extra bonus. There are a bunch of other armor changes we discussed in episode 70, but that's one I just wanted to mention again because it's been covered by 1,000 YouTubers and builds. So
me and Respawn poured a drink out for it last week. We were very upset with that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Very.
Also, speaking of which, when you look at this season's armor, my Powerful Friends is not showing up as an option. Is that happening to you too?
You have no Powerful Friends, and I couldn't tell you because I'm not sure I ever put it on.
Your two powerful friends are sitting right here, my friend.
Ooh, there you go. Speaking of fixing things and making PVM players upset, the Gladiator's Blade Rush finisher no longer allows players to get outside of the map.
So again, Cheese, Froggy, pouring a drink out for you, my friends. Sad times.
So, I'm sure they know 17 other ways.
A lot of alcohol.
Yeah, they probably do know about 17 other ways. Towards the end of the season.
Yeah, they say you just walk over to a particular point I'll talk about here in a minute, and you can just hop down from there.
Your power progression caps, as we discussed briefly earlier, your power cap for weapons and armor raises 50 points. All sources will now offer upgrades up to 1,000 power. Your powerful sources are 1050. Your pinnacle sources are 1060. And something taking your little dark seed up to 1 trillion points, because you can do that. All right, bounties and pursuits. They've sort of heard Respawn's cries, and they've added 3 hours to the expiration of all daily and repeatable bounties. So it's not unlimited, but they gave you 3 extra hours to screw around with them. Your tower repeatable bounties now display, quote, random objective on the vendor before purchase, so people know these are random things you're going to get, which is, this is not a change to how they work. They're just calling out that these are random now.
Those are the repeatable ones, aren't they? The ones that you can buy for extra 3,000 glimmer.
Yep. And if you've been stuck with Warner 9940's benevolence bounty for collecting orbs, it will now trigger the associated triumph. So if you can stuck on that, it should now work. Vendor, my friends. We've added the ability to use exotic ciphers to purchase a second faded engram from Xur each week. Now, how do you get an exotic cipher, and what is an exotic cipher? Well, the only thing I saw for sure is it's at level 55 on the season pass, and there have been a bunch of other people saying, hey, I think it dropped from this, hey, maybe it dropped from that, hey, maybe it's over there. So the exotic cipher is something that's in the game, and I'm sure as people stumble across it, we'll figure out where exactly they come from. But you can now buy your second faded engram from Xur, who, again, by the way, has randomly rolled items now, and they're at high stat levels. So Xur becomes relevant if you're not a day one new light player or not looking for that one seasonal exotic anymore. So Xur's worth a visit every weekend. And finally, just a couple of general bugs. We fixed a bug that caused the season pass post-purchase screen to display in reverse order. So I assume it's, hey, you bought the season pass. Hey, would you like to buy the season pass? Which seems confusing. The Warmind-themed exotic ghost is available on the Cryptarch free of charge for anyone who owned the Season 10 Season Pass. Go to the Cryptarch, get a free ghost. It's pretty.
Yeah.
If you are looking for your heroic menagerie ship, the drop rate has been increased from 5% to 20% for that. They fixed an issue causing the older quests to sort in front of newer quests when players logged in. Ranking up your Season Pass no longer fills up your super meter, which is disappointing. And they fixed a crash that could occur in Gambit while performing a finisher. And that, friends, is update 2.9.0. All the things it does, minus the things we talked about in episode 70.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, now I want to talk about the Destiny Content Vault. I thought this was quite a hot topic that a lot of YouTubers and a lot of other podcasts have not really delved quite deeply into. I think because everybody's caring about the new hotness, everybody's like, look at this, look at this, look at the shiny thing over here, look at the shiny thing over here. But the stuff that we're taking away over here, just don't look over here, don't look over here. But look at the shiny thing, look at the shiny thing.
There's a new dungeon. Look at the dungeon. Or does it say, oh, dungeon? Ooh, dungeon.
Ooh, shinies. Yes.
The hell are y'all talking about?
So Luke Smith and Mark Noseworthy talked about the Destiny Content Vault, which is the thing where all of Destiny 1's items are at the moment. And this is where they're going to be putting the planets that are disappearing from our solar system into when they bring the new expansion in September. So with the introduction of Season 12 on September 22nd, 2020, many things are being put away in the Destiny 2 Content Vault. So this is a way for Bungie to effectively change the game without consistently adding more and more assets into the world and overloading the game. So come September 22nd, and I'm going to keep repeating this for the next 3 months just to make sure everybody's aware of this. There's going to be a section each podcast to remind you these things are going to have to go away and you're going to have to keep up with them.
Remind Respawn. New
It's not just you, my friend. There's a lot of things. There's a lot of things here that when I was researching this for this week's podcast, I thought, oh God, I've got to get that done. I've got to get that done. So come September 22nd, we are gaining Europa and the Cosmodrome from Destiny 1. But the Cosmodrome's not going to be the fully formed Cosmodrome that we knew from Destiny 1. Obviously, there's going to be some a size to it, but it's not going to be the full Cosmodrome. So maybe that's not the Seaver side of it, or maybe it's not the full Cosmodrome from Destiny 1 that we had. But we are losing five destinations here. Right. Mercury, Mars, Titan, Io, and the Leviathan, which in turn creates a ton of lost items, quests, missions, triumphs, etc. So I'm going to run
Namely,
through
everything from those raids. God, what's that? 3 raids you're losing?
I'm going to run through this. This is going to surprise you how much stuff that we are losing. Leviathan, we are losing the Spire of Stars raid, which in turn, you are losing the exotic chair emote, the Sleeper Catalyst and Triumphs. You're losing the Leviathan raid, which is the Callus one. So that's access to the Legend of Acris shotgun, the exotic one, and the Catalyst and Triumphs.
Which has been in my inventory since day one, practically.
Eater of Worlds, and that includes the Telesto Catalyst and Triumphs. I mean, they may put these things in other places for you to get. They have done in previous things, but at the moment, these are where these things live. So this is also going to cause an issue for Leviathan farming, testing, and yellow bar kills. The Menagerie also going away because it's part of the Leviathan. So that's Triumphs, and that's under minor destination Triumphs. The 3 new swords that we got, the 3 class swords for Warlock, Titan, and Hunter. The Izanami Burden, exotic sniper rifle, Catalyst, and the ship that Peroty mentioned earlier that's now had its drop rate put up. The Tribute Hall. So that's where you do your weapon testing. Bad Juju exotic pulse rifle quest, and the Catalyst mission, gone. Crown of Sorrows raid. So the newer raid from Callus, that's going to be going as well because that's part of the Leviathan. So the Turaba, the exotic submachine gun, a Shadow Rises seal, which also includes some of the Menagerie triumphs, is also going. The consolidating Gambit and Gambit Prime, so into some merge thing. So this is going to affect the Reckoner title, which you need weapons and armor. These are the sets that you can get from doing the Reckoning to then take into Gambit Prime.
Yeah, so that one, I mean, they say they're being merged into a single mode with their original armor visual available to earn from the Drifter. So I wonder if that means that the armor, all of that armor goes away and they just become, transmog visuals, or if there's still some level of all of that stuff going into the redone Gambit. Anyway, not decided.
But I'm talking about
transmog so much.
I'm talking about if you are looking for getting the Reckoner title, you need to go into the Reckoning. You need to pick up each armor set for a specific class. You then need to take the full armor set and play with that full armor set in Gambit Prime and do certain triumphs in that to unlock emblems and triumphs that are tied to that. And, the weapons are also tied to the triumph and the Reckoner seal. So these are things that I didn't think about until I was actually researching, as I said. So the Gambit seal is also been changed. They did mention that this week. So the Playing for Keeps badge requirements, which includes some of the weapons that are now not available in this season, is being removed from the Gambit seal, which is called
the Dredgen.
Dredgen title. That's right. So yes, so that's being removed as a requirement, but Playing for Keeps was a Gambit seal requirement. The Hall, which is part of the triumphs for the Reckoning, and I think Gambit Prime, that's under minor destinations in the triumphs. Then we move on to our planets. So we are losing Io, which means we are losing Whisper of the Worm exotic sniper mission, the Whisper heroic version, which has the Catalyst, and the ship that you can get, the exotic ship that you have to do every week for 3 weeks, one after each other. So you have to do a Void week, a Solar week, and an Arc week to unlock that ship. So that also means where people go in to do Whisper farming, like killing the Thrall, that's going to go away. The Izanami Burden exotic sniper quest steps also form a part of a reprised Pyramidian strike on Io. Gone. Titan, you've got a testing area for Greg the Ogre that's down on the left-hand side, I believe, that people go down, they just destroy the Ogre. Aztecross does a lot of testing in there because it's quite easy to kind of get numbers from him. That's going to go. Thorn quests. There's a Thorn quest step, which has a reprised Savathun song strike that you have to go and do. Mercury wasn't really too bad. I mean, I guess trials going to the lighthouse is separate from going to Mercury, but the possibility of losing the Verdant Forest, which is from the Revelry, and the Haunted Forest, which is Festival of the Lost, maybe because that asset's being taken out of the game, might not be coming back, but maybe. I don't know.
Nobody will miss another forest. We need to move on from forests.
That's what I was going to say. Is anybody really going to miss Mercury? Who goes there anyway? Titan is going to hit GDAT hard, though. I feel bad for G-Dad.
So also we have Mars, which is the Worldline Zero exotic sword catalyst. You have to do escalation boss damage with the Worldline Zero sword, one for every week. I think there was about 5 weeks that you have to do it, I believe, to get a certain percentage on the sword catalyst to get that done. You've got the
100%.
Sleeper Simulant exotic linear fusion rifle quest. You've got the Sleeper nodes. There's 40 of those that you can randomly all over the place. The Lumina quest step, Will of a Thousands, you have to go around and shoot the crystals. Do you remember that doing that 1 week?
Yeah, oh yeah, unfortunately.
So that quest step's going to be out. So I don't know how some of these quests are going to be functioning with these going away. In general, we have
Maybe
the
you gotta wait till he
destination.
comes out of the vault again.
Yeah. In general, you've got destination seals for the current destinations might go away or change. So at the moment, when you look at the destination seal, it's going to do various different things on the destinations. And because Io, Mars, Mercury, Titan are all part of the original destinations that we got in Destiny, they form the seal for the destinations. So I don't know whether they're going to be changing it or if that seal is not going to be able to be active or not. But with that, you've got the Red War, Curse of Osiris, Warmind, Black Armory, Joker's Wild, Season of Opulence, Destination badges for weapons, armor, and emblems collections. Also, there may be some shaders in there as well. So, like, I think Black Armory's got some shaders from doing the different forges. They also will be kind of going as well because certain parts of the game from those areas are disappearing. You also have the Red War and the Curse of Osiris exotic badges. So these are you can access most of these on from while you're playing Destiny. So it's toggle to the left screen, and you'll have triumphs and badges, and toggle again. You'll go to your collections kind of thing. So you can see what you're missing from that, or go on your Bungie apps. Where am I now?
I don't know, dude. You're putting me to sleep though.
Shut up, Jim.
I'm sorry, man. I had the wife bring me coffee just to help me stay awake.
Also, there's planet triumphs, which are under major destinations, which will be disappearing. So anybody that's like a triumph hunter, these things are quite important to you. It's originally you thought, those things are going to be in the game forever. They're not now. Spider wanted bounties. So some of these take place in lost sectors on the planets that we're losing, which then also form part of the major triumphs or the minor triumphs. I can't remember which one it is on certain destinations. Emblems associated with planets, lost sectors, and strikes. And with the strikes, you've got 4 variations per Nightfall, I believe. Also with that, Nightfall high scores. There's a triumph for each Nightfall doing over 100,000, I believe it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then you've got Nightfall triumphs. So Mercury, you've got Garden World, which is the quickening. You have to kill the shielded Minotaurs in under 90 seconds. Again, on Mercury, Tree of Probabilities, laser dodge. Take 5 or less hits from the laser in Atlas Grove. Mars, Will of a Thousands, 3 and out. Stun Zol with the Valkyrie 3 times before you kill him. Mars again, Strange Terrain, don't take 5. Don't hold on to the relic for more than 5 seconds after picking it up. Titan, Savathun's Song, best defense. Shoot 15 projectiles from Savathun before killing the boss. On Io, you've got the Pyramidium, which is Siege Engine, and don't allow Brachion to be shielded for more than 40 seconds. Io, Festering Core, nothing, apparently, from what I can find. And then you've got Strike unique rewards. So a Garden World, you've got the Universal Wave Function ship. Tree of Probabilities, you've got the Warden's Law hand cannon. Mars, Will of a Thousands, you've got the Worm God's Transmat effect. Strange Terrain, you've got the Bray Tech Osprey rocket launcher. Titan, Savathun's Song, you've got the Duty Bound auto rifle. And Io Pyramidium, you've got the Silicon Neuroma sniper. Also, with all of this, the new dungeon that we've only just added at the moment is going to be going away at the end of the season, including the triumphs that go along with it. They did say that this might come back because I did hear, I think it was on DCP podcast, they were saying that when you're in the dungeon, it says that you are in the Reckoning. So maybe it's tied to the asset of being in the Reckoning. And because the Reckoning's being taken out of the game to sort out the Gambit Prime thing, maybe they can't kind of just detract it from that at this point of the time. So you've got...
sorry, while you're on this topic about the new dungeon, I was watching Rick Kacka's video because I'm stuck in the first part. I don't know how to use the plates to get to the next room whenever I go in there by myself, right? And Rick Kackas had a video about where they complete the dungeon. And in the very beginning of the video, he goes, "Oh, this took me and my fire team like 10 minutes to figure out, so we're just going to skip it and go to the next part." That's the part we're stuck on. Are you serious? Thank you. Not Rick Kackas. I'm sorry. I'll apologize. It wasn't him. It was M-Tash. My apologies. M-Tash made a video. Yeah, it took us 10 minutes to figure this out, so we're going to go to the next part. Huh?
1 star, not helpful.
Right?
Also, making things even more of a grind this season, if you are into your triumphs and your emblems and your whatever else it is, you've got your moments of triumph, which return on July 7th, and they run straight through till September 22nd. So you've got a lot of... The reason why I'm kind of telling people this now and running through this long list of what's actually going away is because I'm concerned that some of these things that I'm missing from my triumphs, from actually completing in game, and if they're being put into the Destiny content vault, they may not return as they initially were in the game now. So this may be something that you want to kind of complete and, you know, put a tick in the box next to. Is there anything that you guys did, anything stand out for you that you might want to do? I know you're not really much of triumph hunters and things like that, but
Well, I might not be Triumph Hunters, but I've gone through and I've gotten all the stuff that I need, with the exception of the Nightfalls. But I don't really care about doing the Nightfalls, which is probably why I don't have infusion materials.
It's definitely why. Yeah, there's a handful of things here and there where I'm like, oh, you know, like all the masterworking, the whisper, and a lot of those things. It's like, hey, I kept meaning to do those, but I never cared enough at this point to do them. So if they're going away,
is that still glitched? By the way, is the Whisper of the Worm still? That wasn't the Whisper of the Worm, was it?
I don't know.
Yeah,
but it's all the things I figure if I haven't done them up till now, then clearly they're not important enough to go do. So not important enough to me anyway to go do. So I figure now when they go away, they'll just be gone, and then I can move on with my life.
I do need to finish the Whisper of the Worm though, so that I guess that does stand out.
but like I said,
I'm like 68% complete or some nonsense. I might as well just freaking finish it.
But it's like I said, you get the initial thing, and then you think, oh, you know, I've got enough time to go back and do the catalyst as and when the season's really died down. But towards the end of this season, you've got your moment of triumphs, which I know, Peroty, you are really up for. Every moment of triumph, you're in there trying to get everything at that time. So don't you come saying to me, you know, you haven't got enough time. I'm warning you now. That's why I'm trying to let people know now. So I know there's the hype of beginning this new season and things, but they casually went, oh, you know, we're losing Mercury, Mars, Titan, Io, Leviathan. But then it's not until you think about Leviathan, you're losing the 4 raids from the Leviathan.
In your Telesto catalyst, which I still to this day don't have and still want, but maybe I'll
wait.
Bring it back.
You don't have the Telesto?
We don't have the Telesto catalyst.
Oh, like I said, dude, I'm falling asleep over here, man. I'm not trying to be an ass.
70 episodes into this. How many of them have I raved about the Telesto? Which the Weather Horde is the new Telesto. I'm calling it now. Amazing,
right? Oh my god, that thing is so good.
I feel like I saw again. I sort of in the last like 2 or 3 days have sort of just binged on all of this information. I feel like they did say, you know, like they will take, like they've done with the exotics from the last 2 seasons and give them to Rahul to hand out to people. I feel like they did say, you know, like some of like the exotic rewards and catalysts and things that are, you know, that are in the game, you know, maybe not the weapons themselves, but if you already have the gun and the catalyst is going to be going away, I feel like they said that would be moved somewhere. Now, I don't know if that's one of those nebulous Bungie, like, we'll bring it back into the game and a year later they bring it back, or if there's actually plans to move it somewhere else or just throw it into the catalyst loot pool or whatever. But I can't remember if I actually saw that or if it was just a fever dream I was having. But I just want to make orbs out of a Telesto. But really now I have a grenade launcher that turns the world into muck. It's even better.
And you know, that grenade launcher my whole day too. And I'll tell you why. Because once I heard that there was a catalyst for the Trinity Gold, I immediately went out and got it. And I was like, this is my new main. I don't need anything else in this game. And then that damn rocket launcher. Oh my god.
And with the horse,
Yo,
hey buddy,
Oh,
how you doing?
it's so good. Yeah, it's like you got a long-term relationship. Everything is good. You love your girl or your guy or whatever, right? And you're set in your ways, and then all of a sudden, it's that meme where the guy and the girl are walking down the street, and then the other girl passes by, and the guy looks around. You know what I'm talking about? It's like that. It's like, I finally got my bow. I'll never need anything else. But what if? Damn it!
So yes, I'm going to remind everybody each week that they read these things, and I'm going to put Respawn to sleep each week, reminding him. Just make sure that you go back and tick these off your list. And I'm also going to point people in the direction of Cheese Forever, who has quite a lot of videos on maybe cheesing this or a guide on this. And if he doesn't, I'm going to hit him up now. I'm going to send him a message later saying, these are the things that we're discussing in the podcast. If you can put a video together for people to actually go and do certain things that they may find hard to actually do, hopefully he will put these together and get things out to the wider people.
You know the Cheese Forever minions are hard at work at it right now, just like Froggy and Squirrely and all of them are going, oh, you take away one way of Frusk out of the map, well, here's 17 more that you don't know about. Or that
guess what? Did you know that if you shot the grenade launcher at your feet, it teleports you to Nessus in the core?
No, I mean, there are things like soloing the Spire of Stars, beginning part of the raid, and soloing the Eater of Worlds to get like the catalyst for the Sleeper and the Telesto.
Right, but no, I mean, these guys find like the most arbitrary way to do things. It's like you're sitting there and you're thinking to yourself, okay, well, what can I do? And they're like, hey, I'm going to shoot this grenade launcher at you. You need to block it with your sword after you do this particular emote and that rock over there, And it's just, what? Just find the plus, and thereby, when you do this, you're invincible for the rest of Destiny,
Just a couple of other things that I wanted to bring up with you guys, and there are a lot of people in the community that have pointed this out, and I think I took a screenshot of one of the weapons that I was a bit concerned about. There seems to be an issue with some of the sunsetting weapons. So, as an example, my first encounter with this was the Drifter. He has the rocket launcher, the
Bad Omens.
Bad Omens. It is available for me to purchase through Glimmer, Shards, and some enhancement cores, because I've already done the quest steps to get that from resetting my infamy X amount of times a couple of seasons back.
We're talking about the rocket launcher, you said?
Yeah, the rocket launcher that he's got is available because I've already completed that part of the Reckoner title, or the Reckoner step to unlock that, and the hand cannon. But the rocket launcher that he's got is a power level 1360, so that's many more seasons to come. And I have one that he gave me initially when I completed the quest step. Its power cap is 1060. So that stops at the end in a couple of weeks, or sorry, that stops in a couple of months. But I can pick up exactly the same rocket launcher because it's got a different symbol on it at 1360. Now, why? And if I dismantle it, it'll probably give me 6 to 7 shards. But then to buy the new one,
you infuse, my friend. You infuse. You don't dismantle. That's silly.
Why? No, but why would I infuse it?
You're asking the wrong question.
If I have to buy it from the Drifter, it costs 10 shards. So to dismantle it, I'll get 6 to 7 shards. Not shards, 6 to 7 enhancement cores. To then I have to rebuy it at 10. Why was it not? If it's already part of this season's available weapons at 1360, why didn't they go through the vault and say, right, this is part of the list of weapons that are available for this season, so if you own that weapon, its its max infusion is going to be 1360 across the board. Why do I then have to go and repurchase that item again? It didn't make any sense. I get the fact that they're kind of sunsetting weapons and things, but because I'd already got that weapon from doing that part of the quest, or that resetting my infamy, it didn't make any sense. That it's no, there. I can get it at 1360, but I've got a 1060 from when I originally did it. And the
And
other thing,
to clarify, you're not getting it with its current light at 1360. You're getting it where the maximum light can be 1360.
yeah,
right?
Right where your cap is.
Yeah, and the cap for the one that I've got on me is 1060.
Yeah,
Just
okay.
it makes no sense. And the same with there's a lot of weapons. A lot of people have been pointing out, and I picked up a steel syllabus, which is the sword, and I got a good one last season. I think it's rapid hit and something else. I got exactly the same roll drop, but because the symbol is the one that I've already got, like a couple of weeks ago, has got the Forsaken symbol on it. Its max cap is 1060. The one that drops a couple of days ago has got the new symbol of arrivals on it, but can go up to 1360, exactly the same roll.
So then you dump the old one and use the new one. What's the issue?
I do.
The fact that you have to do that.
I think there was a lot of people that were saying, why are we replaying the game to get the same content drop when we've already got that item?
Like when you've got the God roll for, let's say, for example, right now I'm using the God roll auto rifle you get from the forges, right? Well, mine is max 1060. So I would have to go through and refarm to get this same exact weapon that I had farmed for initially again. And that makes no sense. What he's saying is accurate, man. That you shouldn't have to do that.
About the looter shooter making you shoot for different loot is confusing to me.
It's not different loot. It's the same loot, though. That's the problem. It's not different loot. It's the same damn loot.
It's different because you can use it for more than a year. Because somewhere they had to draw, and I'm sure it
You're
goes back to
semantics at this point. It's only different because they changed the symbol on it. It's the same weapon, same roll, same way you get it. It's
because at some point, I'm sure one of the hundreds of technical systems they've laid over, when they were talking about, the systems on systems on systems, at some point, I'm sure it was easier just to say, okay, we could go back and figure out and say, break this loot. Here's our loot pool. This loot pool was forward. This loot pool was out. I'm sure it's easier at some point and man hour saving to say at some point, here's a list of stuff in the game. We're just going to draw a line and say this set of loot ends here. Now that same loot's available in a new version. You can go reacquire it. You can go replay that content. But at some point, this is the loot you can't bring forward. You have to go ahead and do this stuff.
I do understand that. I do understand that.
I'm sure there's a technical, Luke Smith didn't just sit around one day going, what would be fun? Let's do this. I'm sure there's a technical reason underlying this. I agree with you. Grinding for this exact same thing again is silly. But if it's, for some of the stuff that you've had to work for and grind for and get to drop out of raids and stuff, that's irritating. For stuff that's out there in the world, you can just go reacquire. Yeah, it might take a minute to reacquire it, but also there's new guns in the world. Like the point is to sort of, mix things up anyway. Their whole goal with this was to get you to use different stuff and to try out different guns and bring different guns into the game.
So perma sunset it. Don't make it so that it's going to be available, but you got to go back and get the same damn thing the same damn way again.
I think the issue is that there hasn't been that period of time, has there, in between? It's not like there's been a season without all of these weapons. These weapons are now overlapping, and people are seeing, oh, why am I regrinding or why am I replaying to get exactly the same drop of that weapon, just that it's higher light? The thing that really confused me is the rocket launcher from the Drifter, just because the symbol has changed. I got that from doing the quest steps or the infamy steps the first time round. I don't understand why now I have to repurchase it from him to get something. It should just be automatic. But
I think you hit the nail on the head. We're in the middle of that growing pain of sunsetting weapon being implemented. A year down the road, this is no longer an issue because it's everything will be sunset. Everything will be in that new system. It's the mix between two systems. It'd be different if we were going to Destiny 3 and they said, okay, in Destiny 3 we're sunsetting your weapons. All your weapons go away here in D2, and yeah, some of them may be available in D3. But here's Destiny 3 is the line between them. Well, there is no new number on the box. There is no new dividing line between here's the old and here's the new. So they have to do have to draw that line somewhere. And yeah, in between those two, it's going to be a thing. And again,
but just because we can justify it doesn't mean it's the right thing to do.
Well, right.
It's absolutely absurd.
Well, right. Oh, right. It's silly. I agree. But it's silly. But would you prefer them? Again, it comes back to man hours. It comes back to building this game remotely. It comes back to where would you like to see them spend their time? On this or on something else?
Yes.
But honestly though, my takeaway from this was totally different from you guys. My initial thought was, I have never been happier that each of these weapons and armor pieces has that little symbol in the corner, has that little watermark to tell me where it came from.
Yeah, no, that is a good thing.
Because think if you were to go through the 7 Bad Omens in your vault and go, okay, these all came from somewhere. What level can each of these go to? What can they actually do? Where, what can I take forward? What can I not take forward? The fact that at least we have a way, I'm thankful Bungie built this into the game to be able to, because up until now, it really hasn't mattered. All your loot was viable. It doesn't matter where it came from or what season, but now it's like, okay. And I think it was on the Bungie help page or something where they said, they had a little guide of, hey, here's what each of these symbols means. Here's which season or which, content drop they came with. So you can actually go through and look at your stuff and say, okay, here's the 6 versions of this I have, or here's these guns I have. What can I bring forward? What do I need
to use the manpower to fix this issue instead of making little symbols? Yeah.
No, but I tell you what I'm more concerned about.
What's that?
And I didn't write it on here because I know you guys would get upset with me. Vault space.
2,500.
Where is my vault space?
I thought it was going up to some arbitrary number.
Dude, no. I will tell you where your vault space is. Your vault space is come September 22nd, 2020, when you delete all your 1,060 light level weapons. Done.
No, I can't do it. I need vault space. I need somewhere to put these in collections.
No. It is in your collections and the stuff that's randomly rolled. It's a lot to 1,060. Throw it away. It's time to let it go, buddy. Just let it go.
I'm gonna have to start up a new character and just Night Demon +1 or something just to start a new collection. I can't do that. I can't get rid of it all.
But you can't transfer stuff between characters, so that would be pointless.
At this point, you just have to leave this 19 character behind, spin up the Nintendo Man account to play him going forward. Because your weapons have been sunset. So
I really want them to come out and clarify what is happening with vault space. Are we going to get any more vault space, or are we getting nothing? Because I need to know now.
He said something though, didn't?
Not at the moment, I believe. I need to know now so that I can go through and, seriously, I'll go through and I'll go, if that's a PvE god roll, I'll leave it. I'll get rid of it. If it's a PvP, then I'll keep it because that is still viable to me.
I just told you what their vault space plan is.
Shh, no.
Get rid of stuff.
Sunsetting everything.
Sunset, let it go. I am waiting. I'm waiting for the find the time. If I could go through and dim or something and purge the weapons and delete them, I would have already done so. I need to sit down and play, walk up to the vault in the game and go, okay, nope, you're gone. All the stuff I'm hanging on to and thinking about, it's going to be exotics and like 2 armor pieces left in my vault. That's all it's going to be. It's going to be a wasteland of nothing else.
That's so weird because I always get rid of my exotic weapons because those are the easiest things to reacquire. The legendaries are a pain, man.
I tend to just sort of keep like 1 copy of everything in the vault just in case. Yeah, because it's easier to pull it from there than to go. And now I say 1 copy of everyone. I say 1 copy of everything for the Titan. There's next to nothing Hunter and Warlock in my vault at all.
That's my issue because I run all 3 characters all the time.
So I think your answer is you need a vault. There needs to be dedicated vault space for each character for character specific things.
You can trade weapons.
Yes.
Right. You can keep that between them, but at least the weaponry, or break it out in some way where if your 3 characters are all trying to share 1 closet, you need 3 closets at some degree.
No, I'm just saying, if we're getting rid of Leviathan and we're getting rid of the Menagerie and we're getting rid of the Tribute Hall, there must be some space for 100, 200 more spaces in my vault. Just saying.
Maybe if you're good next year, they'll give you vault space.
But also, we're saying that when I was looking through and doing...
Wait, my Demon Hall, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I figured it out. They have given you a vault space. We've been talking about it for the last hour. Why didn't I think of this?
What?
The Destiny content vault.
No, that's their vault. They don't put
No. That's where all your weapons and armor go into. They go into the Destiny content vault. And then when it's time for you to have them again, you can pull them out of the Destiny content vault when they come back into the game.
Not when my
that actually wouldn't be a bad thing. I would be on board with that if that was a thing, right?
It's not
like, hey, no, I know it's not a thing. I know it's not a thing.
When the content comes out, it'll be higher level stuff. You can go get it again.
Yeah, but it could be a thing. That's what I'm saying. I love that idea. Hey, Bungie listened to me when it came to what to do with the freaking exotic bow. Maybe they'll listen to you when it comes to this.
Yeah. But saying that, going through and looking for doing my research for the podcast this week, I found something that was quite interesting. The Ikelos weapons that you can get from the escalation protocol, when I hovered over a couple of them, they've got the new arrival symbol on them, and they are max light of 1360. And it says I can't reacquire them from my collections because they're randomly rolled, which I found quite interesting. Maybe it's a bug,
Wait,
maybe it's not a bug.
That's
Which is
what you were talking about, the random roll. I was confused, man.
So are the Ikelos weapons showing up this season? I thought I heard somebody say that they were available in the new dungeon, but I haven't seen any kind of clarification on that. It may have just been me mishearing it, but it may be that they are going to be showing up with random rolls. I haven't done an escalation protocol to find out if that's where they're coming from. Maybe they are.
Well, that planet's going away, so I should hope not.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you just delete them all because they're all going away anyway. It doesn't matter.
And the other thing I was going to bring up was the Witherhoard exotic grenade launcher. At the moment, there is a massive bug with it. So
it's not a bug; it's a feature. Don't bring it up.
It's a feature.
Shush. Bungie doesn't know. Shush. Shush.
Oh, Bungie knows.
And the
For somebody that does raids, just leave it alone, man. Shut up.
It's already out there. They know. And the catalyst makes this gun even more desirable. Max handling and auto-loading holster. So fire one round, stow it, shoot something, pull it back out, and the handling, the quick swap between your secondary or your heavy, whatever.
Yeah, if you've got a grenade launcher like I do that's got spike grenades, clown cartridge, and auto-loading holster, yeah.
So now I've bored you all to death with what's going away because I feel that was important. Should we go and have a look at what's happening next week in Destiny?
Did we discuss what was happening this week in Destiny yet?
This week's over. Next week happens. By the time we talk about this week, it'll be next week.
So next week in Destiny, we have to contain the spread of the darkness by completing contact public events on Io and fighting new enemies in the Cradle. So that means apparently we're getting a new story beat mission every week. So if you complete it every week on your character, much like we had with the story beats with the Zer quest, where you pick up his quest each week from him, we're going to be getting something similar this season. Shax brings Scorched and Countdown to the Crucible, so destroy your enemies. I'm sure we've just had Scorched, haven't we? And I swear and Countdown.
Now you're going to have Scorched again, and you're going to like it.
I didn't like it the first time it was there.
There's going to be some solar bounties up the week before and after Scorch is out, so enjoy.
Yeah. Just pick them up 10 minutes before reset.
There you
go. Destroy Savathun's song in the Nightfield all day. But still no flashpoint. Do we even bother guessing at this point? Because I've lost track of what's actually come up. I could actually know. I was saying that it went Mars, EDZ, and this week was Tangled Shore. So I've eliminated 3 places for you.
Titan.
I think Titan was before Mars, wasn't it?
Let's go back to Mercury and pour one out for old brother Vance over there.
Oh, let's face it, it's going to be Mercury because it's the beginning of the season. It's difficult, and they know people want those engrams. They're going to force us back to Mercury. Yeah, I'm with you on that one, Mercury.
This game becomes much easier when they take half the planets away.
Accurate.
Yeah, that we're keeping the Dreaming City, so they might actually put public.
It reminds me of the Marine Corps. If I take away your freedom of choice, then things are easier for you.
They might actually put the flashpoint on the Dreaming City if everything else is taken away.
That escalation protocol going away is going to hurt, though. Like that's my go-to farming spot for a lot of stuff involving Hive. I'm going to miss that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. That on Mars, the thing that's escaping my memory right now. Not a dungeon. It's like a cave. You walk in, you do stuff.
Like some kind of sector that you seem to have lost.
Yes. Just like it's like a lost sector. Exactly. That's my go-to for anything that involves enemy killing. Absolutely anything. Hey, you got to kill this many enemies. Cool. I'll just have Thrall run at me.
what would be nice if we could also have a Destiny content vault for all the D2 content out there on YouTube and things, because you're going to start trying to search for how to do things in this game come September, and you're going to have a lot of information that's not going to make any sense anymore, which is nobody's problem. But the how do you do things player now should be even more difficult with, just go here and do this. Yeah, that planet literally doesn't exist anymore. Can't do that. Next.
Just go to Mars. There's the Mars? Where's Mars? I don't see it on my tracker. What the hell is Mars? Oh, yeah. My bad. Try Io. What's an Io? Oh, you know what? Hold on. Let me look through here. Back.
See, now you're seeing the reasoning of my list.
Cosmodrome. The Cosmodrome. Where's the Cosmodrome? It's on the EDZ.
No, it's not on the EDZ. It's on Earth. EDZ, European Dead Zone, Cosmodrome, Old Russia. Two different places.
All Earth, all the time.
There you go.
So they're pretty sneaky about their, since they're going to tell us what's happening in the Crucible and not anywhere on a Flashpoint. Pretty sneaky how they stuck that skill-based matchmaking removal and just kind of slid it right in there and sort of like, shh, nobody know. Shh.
Yeah,
so are you talking about the mention in This Week at Bungie for the 11th of June?
I am indeed. I was delighted to see that most of This Week at Bungie was, hey, we put out a lot of videos. You should go watch those. Go watch those videos, which we've discussed now.
Yes. Not in depth, but we've discussed.
Yeah. So yeah, if you haven't or you're very confused about, go to This Week at Bungie for June 11th and you can watch all the videos that we've been talking about and teasing, and all these words we've been saying will make a lot more sense to you.
Well, I wouldn't go that far.
They do mention that the new dungeon is free to all players, so you can select it. It's in the tower, down just below where the Drifter is.
Free to all players as long as you own the DLC.
And what highlight was it? I believe it's 1040, isn't it?
Yes, recommended.
It's a recommended level, but I think you can get in at 1025 and have a perusal around and see what it's like.
Yeah. Needless to say, I saw they snuck the dungeon there and said, "Yeah, I'm not going in there at all." That seems like a very bad idea.
I spent a lot of time in there trying to figure out those.
We don't know what you're going on about because we haven't played it. So spoilers.
Is it a platform you have to have 3 different people stand on, like every other mechanic they have in this game with platforms?
I guess that explains why I couldn't do it by myself.
I have no idea. I've sort of purposely, I've seen people going into the dungeon talking about it, but I haven't watched anything. Not because I don't want to spoil it for myself so much, as just that I'm not there yet. I'm at like 10:10, so I'll get there when I get there. But
if we were a professional podcasting team, we'd have organised ourselves and done a blind run through it whilst we were trying to read through the TWAB. But we're not that professional.
Absolutely.
I'm online. Get on your PCs. Let's go.
Buy me a PC first.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. So sorry, Peroty, you were going to tell us about the match made in heaven.
Was he?
I was. Well, I was first going to tell you, just remember, if you encounter something new in Bungie, think, what other mechanic have I seen before that's just like this mechanic? Because they love a good mechanic we're using. Looking at you, Bank, of the new public event. But yeah, after all the pretty videos and the talk of dungeons, there is a match made in heaven. So they've made a few changes to Crucible matchmaking. It's now matchmaking based on player skill has been removed from all the playlists except for Elimination, Survival Freelance, and the currently canceled Trials of Osiris. So basically anything competitive like that will be skill-based matchmaking, so your connections may suffer. Everything else in the game, your quick plays, your control, your scorched, your everything else, your rumbles, is going to be connection-based matchmaking. So what does this mean? This means your connections should be better. You shouldn't see people lagging all over the place and jumping all around. PC folks, who knows what you're seeing because you're your own breed. Stadia, mixed bag for you all. But the connections should be better, but the skill gap between players could be larger. So instead of trying to put you with people who match your skill, it's going to put you with people who match your connection. Now, this is going to be more fun when you're in a fire team with people who are all across the skill gap. We'll see how Bungie handles it. So why are they doing this? They're responding to community feedback. They're trying to shorten.
They're responding to freaking YouTubers. Let's be honest here. All these crying ass
Which
YouTubers.
are part of the community.
Sweaties.
They're trying to shorten the queue times for players. They're improving the connection quality of matches, providing more places where the outcome of the match isn't as important as enjoying the experience, and playing into the strength of the Crucible being a bombastic, frenetic action game.
But listen to what you just said. Listen to that statement. Where the outcome of the match is not as important as enjoying it.
And playing the game and having fun. Because
when you're getting wrecked by people that are just smoking you and your fire team, are you having fun?
What are you talking about? They're not saying they're going to match you up against M-Tash, Cool Guy.
Yes, that's exactly what they're
every
saying.
lobby.
They're removing skill-based matchmaking.
No,
so yeah,
you
can be matched against Hush and M-Tash and Rick Cackus now.
You are talking about the 0.01% of top players.
Also, you're talking about... You're talking about...
You just seem to have forgotten... You're just forgetting how it used to be before they had it.
Come back to console. So get off the PC where all the streamers are. Come back to the console, and also, for the love of God, stay out of the quick play. Stay out of that. Is it quick play? I've lost what it's called now. Yeah, quick play. Yeah, classic. Yeah, classic mix. Stay out of classic mix. For the love of God, stay out of classic mix. You might think, oh, classic mix. Let me jump in and have some fun-filled games. No, that's where you will jump into and get stomped by teams of 4 and 5 and 6, just running you over with not forgottens. Jump into Control, heck, jump into Rumble, jump into whatever, Countdown or Scorch. Scorch is its own thing, but stay out of Classic Mix. That's where the sweaties hang out. That's where the big stacks of people hang out. Play Control, hang out, enjoy the game, have a little fun, and stay off PC. That's where all the streamers are with their high-end gaming rigs and their, 4,000 frames per second. Go back to the console, hang out with your friends, have more fun. So, this, of course, is going to mean people are now going to scream about the return of skill-based matchmaking from connection-based matchmaking for 6 months, and then we'll swing back the other way, and then we'll have this conversation all over again. Massive Breakdown podcast had a great breakdown of, as the name would suggest, the skill-based versus connection-based and the problem with both. I'll pull out the episode number and put it in the show notes because they do a great breakdown of here's the problem with each of these. Because yes, they both have problems. Neither of them are perfectly good solutions. They're both going to have problems. That's the game. That's life. And yeah, but they sort of stuck that in there. And now they like to count you as one of my crew. So we're making some changes to the Dredgen title, which Night Demon worried about a little bit earlier. So as you may have read, we're making some changes to the World Loot Pool. As a result, a few of the legendary weapons, the Playing for Keeps collection badge, are no longer required to have a reward source in the game. They strongly believe the gear collection is a critical part of what it means to wear and earn a title. We're going to remove Playing for Keeps as part of the title, which Night Demon said, so I'll stop reading at this point. I thought it was something different. So that's been removed. We're very good at things. Go buy a new hoodie. It's warm outside. The coronavirus is here. Go buy the new Bungie reward hoodie where you can put it up, have the nice 9 artwork on it, nice little symbols. The nice thing is it's got the nice high collar you can pull up and wrap over your face. So it's very important in this day and age. And there's a bunch of new stuff at the Bungie store. Go check it out if that's what you like to do. And now, oh boy, friends, we talked about the things that we fixed earlier, and now it's everyone's favorite time of the day to talk about the things we have broken. I suppose at some point we should talk about what we're actually getting this new season. But before then, before you can get to the new things, there are some broken things. And the broken things, we're going to work on fixing. Some point this week, 2.9.0.1 is coming out. And they say shortly before the season of arrivals, Destiny player support became aware of a bug regarding the seasonal Charged with Light armor mods. It allows players to equip all the Charged with Light armor mods on any of the Season of War armor pieces without having previously acquired them. While this bug will be fixed, the team has decided not to enable the mods and basically let players have a chance to try them out. So if there are some so if they're Charged with Light mods you haven't bought and you suddenly have access to, consider this your free week of Charged with Light mods to play around with until they fix this bug sometime next week-ish.
Wait, no, that's only the Charged with Light mods? So
that's what it says.
Okay.
And it's only on the Season of Dawn armor.
Right. So, along with 2.9.0.1, there are the Guardian Angel Artifact armor mod, not granting its perk when the mod is slotted. The Breach Resonator Artifact armor mod, not granting its perk when the mod is slotted.
On controllers, the sprint canceling if players press the sprint action again, which I and you guys probably encountered the first time I jumped into play some Crucible matches and suddenly couldn't run right anymore. So I broke my running abilities. Players with a full engram inventory of Umbral engrams may be blocked from completing the Season of Arrival's opening quest. The visible holes are present in the EDZ terrain where the Seraph Towers used to be.
Speaking of what you're talking about, it's important. Somebody was complaining about how they can't do the focused armor, and he didn't know why. If you're still out there and you're still listening, in order for you to do the focused armor at the machine, you have to first have a focused armor in your inventory at least once. So I recommend, if you haven't done so, there's a package you can pick up if you own the season pass, and it gives you one of each piece of armor. At that point in time, you can focus armor.
Or if you're on the free track, you can just pick one up off the free track once you get to it. But yeah, that's something that I actually stumbled across this week, because I thought it worked on my Warlock when I started off with my Warlock, and then why isn't it working on my Titan? And I had to read through, and then I found a Reddit post, and it was like, just make sure that you've got an armor piece from the new season. I was like, makes sense. But I think it's the wording on it. It says that you need something else, but it refers to the ornaments. It says the name of the ornament that you have to own, but it's not necessarily that. It's just a piece of the regular armor. So I believe you get the class item first, I think, on the free track. So just pick that up, or the boots or something. Once you pick that up, then you're able to access the focusing part for armor.
Yeah, it happened to me before I figured out about this whole AFK thing. I had started on my Titan.
Shh, we're not talking about that yet. That's for later. That's for later.
And yeah, came across the same issue. Wouldn't give me the armor.
Also, I was going to say also something on the hotfix 2.9.0.1 that they haven't mentioned in the TWAB this week, but they did mention it last week or the week before, was the changes to Antaeus wards, which are the reflections and the super energy. They haven't mentioned it here, but they did say that it was coming in the next hotfix, which should be the 2.9.01. But because it's not on the TWAB, I'm not entirely sure if it's going to make it.
Right. Yeah, I remember DMG said last week it was meant to go into the notes from last week's 12, it didn't quite make it. It's also not in this one, so yeah. It's coming-ish when this update comes, or the next one, or sometime.
So what known issues and things have we got coming up, or have we got issues? Sure, we've got issues. I told you about one issue with the
Let him talk!
Sorry. I told you about one issue with the Xbox. What other issues have we got, Peroty?
None. There are no issues. Everything's great.
No, there are issues. Don't lie to the people.
I wouldn't lie to the good people. No,
you are lying to the peoples.
No, see, for once though, I personally have not had an issue. Usually, I'm the one, other than the sprinting thing, who finds a thing where I'm frantically texting you guys, going, "Why is this broken? Why can't I do this? Why will this person not talk to me?" No, I've been good so far. However, overall, the Almighty Exotic Ghost Shell and the Sanctification Exotic Ship appear invisible, so we can now all be hunters with ghost shells and ships that are invisible. If you've suddenly lost your Tommy's Matchbook Catalyst quest, it's been removed from player inventories. Doesn't say if it's all players, doesn't say if it's some players, but if it's gone, that's why. It's gone, they're aware of it. The Bungie 2, the Destiny 2 Beyond Light pre-order emblem does not appear in collections yet, so if you like it and you want to have it, don't delete it yet if you want to use it.
I have it, and it's been bugging it's been bugging me because it keeps telling you, hey, you have a new emblem, Where is it? Haha, it's not here. Oh, that blinking is driving me nuts.
Did you not have space?
It's important to have space. Also, Amanda Holiday has 2 legendary ships in her inventory that can't be purchased. So you can go to Amanda Holiday and look at her legendary ships, but you cannot have them.
Oh, she let me have them. She likes me. She says, look, just fill your vault up with some more ships.
Yeah, well, some people she doesn't like. Console players, we may experience blacked out emblems, invisible ships, and a power level of 0 in orbit. And possibly one of my favorites is dying to environmental hazards or the architects will sometimes show a recommended power level of 18809472000.
all a power level. So that's your cap. That's what you want to work for this year. A couple billion power level, and you'll be all set. There's also a couple other known issues. Then a couple of these are sort of retreads, but just a reminder about all of the, if you're trying to order things on the Xbox and they're not showing up, do the song and dance to make that happen. Your season pass will only be applied to the first account that signs in. If you plan to cross-save but will use another character set, it's recommended to set up cross-save before logging in. So if you as Respawn, buy the content on your PC, and you log in there, and you're like, oh, I want to play on the Xbox. Doesn't apply there. Got to set up your cross-save first if you haven't set up cross-save for some reason. Your universal ornaments will only appear on your certain legendary armor pieces called Armor 2.0. These armor pieces will show an energy cost on them. If you're like Night Demon and others who are hoarding armor going, why can't I put this ornament on it? Because it's old, delete it, move on with your life.
No.
As has been pointed out by a number of people, gear may drop at 750 power instead of near your actual power level. So I know I saw this from the Infamy rank up packages in Gambit, and it seems to be, I feel like maybe the Crucible rank up packages, it seems to be the rank up packages are dropping at incorrect levels. The actual end of game loot seems to be dropping at level. At least that's my experience so far.
I think so.
Yeah. If you're getting 750 loot, they're aware of it. It's an issue. It'll be addressed. Again, if you're on controller, your sprint will cancel if you press the sprint button again. So just press the button once and then hold the stick down. Then you can run again. Life is beautiful.
So, also, saying that with the controller issues, people using Storm Trance on Warlocks have been having issues, as I did as well. And dodging on Hunters. Apparently, there's an issue with dodging.
Well, I mean, the Hunters can't dodge, Titans can't run, and Warlocks can't floof. So it sounds like everything's working as intended.
Oh, is this just on controllers? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, controllers.
Oh, okay.
Some players may not receive rewards in the Garden Salvation encounter chests, and Respawn still will not receive exotic rewards from any raid.
You shut up!
I'm just reading what the known issues page says. I'm reading what's here.
I'm sure.
Some players may not receive progress on Crucible and Iron Banner quests and bounties. When using HDR, the brightness slider doesn't appear to work. The dark areas are still dark. If you're trying to dismantle an Umbral Engram, don't, because it won't give you any rewards.
Okay.
Sorry, I was trying to make sense of this next one, see if we've covered it. I have a couple different sets of notes.
Oh, okay.
Players who dismantle the Season of Arrival's intro quest, because they're like, screw this new season and its quest, you can talk to Zavala to reacquire it to actually, progress with it.
Okay.
Your boss kills will grant bonus progression to the Scornful Shadow, Bloodied Legion, delete executable, and break in some taken Prismatic Recaster daily bounties. Players will be blocked from completing the Prismatic Recaster weekly ritual loop if they previously completed on a character of the same class earlier in the week. So if you've got multiple characters, multiple Titans, multiple Hunters, multiple Warlocks, it's going to break your ability to do the weekly Prismatic Recasters. And your seasonal consumables will be deleted when the Season of Arrival ends, which is just a good reminder out there. When season ends, all the season things go away.
And all the other stuff I told you about.
Mm-hmm. Kills with the Reprise Ikelos shotgun, sniper rifles, and submachine gun will not grant progress on the Sleeper Stimulant Catalyst.
See, they are reprised. They are reprised. Where are they? Tell us where they are.
They're reprised, but kills won't count. I can't tell you where they are, but I can tell you they're reprised.
Tell you where they're not.
Also, poor Warlocks. The Shockstorm Prismatic Recaster daily bounty will not progress with the Warlock's Ball Lightning ability. And I just want to mention this again because it just tickles me. The visible holes in the EDZ terrain where the Seraph Towers used to be. I just love that there's holes there now.
You leave them alone. They're for Froggy to get through the floor.
It's for the rest of us to be like, hey, look, there's a hole. We'll make this easy for you.
Just avoid the hole. You've seen the tape. Just leave the hole.
Yeah, let Froggy adventure that and send us what he finds.
Can we deploy a robot from the tower to stand there with a little hard hat and a little flag to be like, warning, careful.
Swooperbot just stands there with a stop sign.
Yep. And that's all the known issues I could find, both what Bungie called out in the TWAB and the things they had on the known issues page. There's still other things going on, but I feel like we've talked to those to death. I've tried to pull out things that were people are possibly running into with the new season, or things that I don't remember us covering that we probably have in the past. But those have been all our known issues that are going to be patched at some point in the future. Ish.
I'm one of the victims with the Tommy's matchbook. Oh, you suck. I don't like being a victim. Take
Peroty.
it back.
Present.
You know what we haven't heard enough of today, or on this show?
What people get in this new season that just released?
No. I was going to say Respawn. We're dying for some Respawn report roundup news.
Okay.
We really are.
Yeah. But to say that you haven't heard enough of me, is that really true? I feel as though that's not completely accurate. But yes, the Respawns, Report, Roundup, Renegade, yada, yada,
Nick,
yada.
can't change the name. It's been too long. Just read what you're told.
So this is where I sit back and... Now, are you going to read us the entire transcript of the interview or just part of it?
Knowing him, he would read the whole transcript. We'd just leave him. We'd come back in an hour's time and he's still going through it.
Hold on. You're talking about... No. You're talking about the freaking... We're
talking about the guys at Destiny Roundup.
The weekly Roundup, right?
Yeah, the Destiny Roundup guys have actually done a transcript of what the Q&A between Luke Smith and Dr. Lupo. That's what we were joking about, that you might sit and read and go through the whole thing. You don't have to read that for everybody. They can just go and watch the video.
Yes, you do. And then we'll put gameplay trailers.
Now I'm actually confused because I thought you were talking about the Destiny Roundup.
We are.
Yes, that's what we're talking about.
Clearly haven't looked at.
I'm looking at the Destiny Roundup that was.
So the first one you want to look at is called Sprints: Future of Destiny, Luke Smith, and there's DMG and Cosmo before you get to the Luke Smith bit.
Yeah, I don't see that.
And if we haven't already covered it,
June 10th, and there's one from yesterday. One has someone sitting in the reckoning thing going.
There's the June 10th. Gotcha.
And the other one's dancing in front of a pretty wall with lots of colors behind it.
We've been doing this show for the last 2 hours, and Respawn's been doing the report roundup for quite a few weeks now.
Yeah, and I went to the
Why
one
is it not already up on your screen?
I didn't know that there were two of them.
I go to the report roundup before I start the show, and I look, and I go, okay, there's that one and that one. I've got two little windows with each one pulled up, so I can read through with you, so that if there's any additional information that I can add.
I have the one. I didn't know there were two.
You didn't
look,
not usually you've only just looked.
Two.
Yes,
no,
there is always two.
Always
two. There are a master and an apprentice.
The only reason I was wasting time is I was trying to get out of Destiny so I could pull up a page that I already had pulled up. That's what the distraction was.
The right page. You didn't look properly. You didn't. Look
I
properly.
had one.
Have you got your glasses on? Have you got your glasses on,
dude? I even said I have one that says from yesterday, and that's when you said. No, there's another one. I had one of the
It's on the main page. It's on the main page. It's in black and white. Literally black and white.
I have it now. I didn't have... Man, you don't listen.
You are such a hypocrite.
I said to you that I have the one from yesterday. I didn't see the other one. And then I went back and I'm like, oh, okay, there it is. And then you've been berating me for not having them up this whole time when I'm trying to tell you I had the one from yesterday. I didn't know there was a second one.
I'm berating you and delaying time so that it gives you a chance to have a quick read through it.
Oh, I would never pre-read. What is wrong with you? Only rookies do that.
And 3, 2, 1.
Cosmo, there's DMG.
You're too far away. Get
I'm
closer to the mic. Come back to the mic.
To the microphone. It's time for ASMR Respawn reading.
I'm not talking to you yet. Shush. Shush your face hole.
Well, since to give Respawn some time to look at his report roundup and properly round up all his report.
Future in the Destiny
what's coming this season? So
your
season of Arrival's free content, as we mentioned.
Peroty, just give up, because him singing, it's just going to ruin whatever you're saying.
No, it doesn't, because we're on separate tracks. You can remove his.
Yeah, it does, but then for some reason it doles you out or doles him out and just makes it even harder.
Okay.
I'm
Whoa, you just got real robot-y there, Robot Respawn.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, building a viable future in Destiny article. Cosmo, the reworking new player experience along with additional Cosmodrome to make new light less confusing when DCV settles in. That is a Reddit link for all you that don't know. Zer's random rolls were missed in the notes. Hit Cosmo up on Friday, still being stubborn. Sorry, if Zer is still being stubborn, that is another Reddit link. Broken Spirit is being looked at. I don't know whose spirit has been broken.
Broken Spirit? You mean Sprint? I can read SPRINT.
Then you're reading it wrong. It's obviously Broken Spirit because we're talking about Bungie here.
Yeah, I haven't broken his spirit just yet.
Let's see what else we got here. We'll give feedback about Champions and Vault of Glass. Let Bungie know if you would like these experiences to stay as close to the original as possible, or if you think there should be more changes to make them feel updated and fresh. That's what I'm afraid of.
No
right there.
champions. Yes, changes. Yeah. No champions.
No changes. No champions. Bring it back the way it was. That's it. You know, let us that miss it experience it again once or twice, and then get the freaking
you can experience it as it was on the original Destiny. If you want to go back and play it on the original Destiny, go and do that. I'm here for change, my friends.
See, that's what I was afraid of. Max power level changes for the Garden of Salvation Last Wish raid. Weapons and armor didn't make it into this season. They will be updated next season. This won't affect anything with these items this season, since you will be able to infuse them up to the season's max power level. Forums link. Wow, my voice just went to crap that time, huh? Yeah. DMG. Dark title screen fall for 2020 Twitter link. I suppose I should look at that.
You no longer get a blinding bright screen when the game starts. That's all.
Oh, that's what that means. Okay, cool. Invisible ships are a known issue. I like it. Reminds me of Wonder Woman's airplane. Leave it alone. If you hoard bounties between seasons, if you hoard bounties between seasons, you do so at the risk of losing a few powerful drops. DMG will be sure to call this out before next season. Twitter link. That is done.
I'm glad they're not removing the bounties. But with that, I'll put a caveat to it. Just make sure that if you're going to be starting to hoard bounties towards the end of the season, if you are hoarding bounties before the end of next season, make sure that you're not kind of hoarding ones that are specific to the locations that are disappearing.
Yeah. That. Also, if you're already max light, see, he's all like, you'll be missing out on powerful drops if you hang on to them. Will you, though? Because if you're already max light, you don't need the powerful drops, so you're not missing out on anything, really.
No, but he means for the next season. I'll give you an example of what he's talking about, Respawn. So when I saved my bounties from last season, I had 2 bounties that had pinnacle drops on them from the Iron Banner. Now, I wasn't too concerned about what they were, because I was going to dump them as soon as I could to get the XP. They did drop at 750, so they weren't pinnacle at all. So the crossover between the 2 seasons knocked them down. I just got regular weapons. But the main reason I was saving those bounties were they were higher XP.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. But what he's saying is that if you do hold on to them, that you may be losing a few powerful drops going into next season. Because I believe the previous season,
right? No, I get that. I get that. What I'm saying is, if you're already max light level, then
yes, but the previous season. A lot of people held onto the Iron Banner bounties and they got 4 pinnacle powerful drops to help boost them at the beginning of the season, and it didn't happen this season.
Right. Yeah, with the new season, you won't get that new boost, or may not get that.
Good. Start at the same level everybody else does. You freaking try hard.
What? And then go AFK Forge farming, to beat everyone.
Well, I don't. No, it's not beating everyone because you're higher light than I am. I'm only 1044. You're higher than I am, right? You've been actually playing?
No, not at the moment. I'm not 1044.
All right, moving on. DMG, destroying raid bosses in under 2 seconds with Witherhand is unintentional and will be fixed. Double daggone it. Expect a timeline soon. Enjoy it while it lasts. All right. Got a raid tomorrow. Going to use that nonsense. On the Vanguard bounty to kill 150 Scorn. I didn't believe the final hollow layer encounter will ever be changed to give progress on those enemies. It's easily farmable, makes quest bounties completely trivial. I know we have some other areas that many of you hit for quick progress, but they're not intentional. don't know if they'll be patched, but the team usually tries to avoid easy cheese/farm encounters when creating content. Reddit link. Once again, Bungie sees we have fun and takes it away.
Actually,
God,
no, they
I
aren't.
hate that mentality.
Tangled Shore doesn't go away, so you can still go to that lost sector and farm all the scorn you want.
Right, but
Yeah.
he's talking about patching easily farmable things, is what he's saying. That's the mentality that I hate. We didn't intend for there to be easy cheese/farm locations, so we're going to patch those out probably. But why? Why do you take fun out of the game? I understand if there's a broken weapon like the Witherhand, right? That's fun.
When
but
have
it's
they ever
broken.
done?
Whatever, man. Point is, it's so stupid. I hate that. I hate that mentality. Oh,
Come on,
you
keep
found a way
reading.
to have fun.
Come on,
Let's take it
come on.
away.
Continue.
Stupid face.
Continue.
Lost where I was. Okay. I think on average, an entire strike lasts 10 to 15 minutes with minimal effort. When I say minimal effort, I mean it's a natural path of playing a strike in an MM activity. Right. No, I had my mouse hovering over it. In a match-made activity as opposed to hitting an endgame activity. Feedback point I'm getting from this, though, is a lack of shared progress on the score and kills. With a smaller pool of activities to get these kills from, mixed with completing with the teammates for said kills, it can be frustrating. Good stuff. Reddit link. That's very arbitrary.
Yeah, that is super frustrating when you are trying to do something and you're like, oh, jump into strikes, but then you're fighting two other people for progress on that thing you're trying to do.
Yeah, that's very aggravating.
See, with that, I wouldn't mind if it was 150 Scorn kills, but the Nightfall for that week included Scorn in longer than like just the opening couple of seconds. At the moment, it's the Techie and Witch one. You have like about 10 Scorn at the beginning of it, and then nothing throughout.
But even if there's a 1,000 scorn in a strike, Peroty's right. You're still competing against other people.
You
for
are,
skills.
but you're more likely to play the Nightfall over and over again to get X amount of rewards. I mean, you have to play the lowest tier one at least 3 times to get not the pinnacle, but
Weekly.
the weekly tier one reward. So you at least have to play it 3 times. So if you were playing the one that was on the Tangled Shore, you wouldn't mind then having to play that, even maybe for an extra game, just so that you've got your scorn kills, because by the end of that encounter, you may have got an exotic shard. So, you know, it's a good way up for, rather than kind of trying to go into a private Nightfall and then just farm the kills for yourself. It would be much more enjoyable and more rewarding if it was all able to be tied in for that week. So the bounties actually tied in with Nightfall.
Agreed.
It's
but it would also be easier if it was shared between everybody, no matter who gets the kill.
Well, then no,
Both
but then
those
I'd
are valid
say you
points.
need more
One of them's
kills
easier.
for that.
Why do you have to be devil's advocate here?
Because
Why are you gonna be that guy?
let's say that there's 100 scorn in the strike, the
Cool.
hollowed layer.
I complete
right?
whatever I'm doing even faster. I'm okay with that.
So that's shared across all 3 of you that are going in and completing that night, that strike.
Sure. Yeah.
Right. So why do you need it lowered? Surely you'd need it upped to make
so I
it
can
more
move on
viable.
to the next thing, the next stupid ass grind I have to do for this damn game.
I'd be happy. Yeah, if you're gonna make the shared, I'd be happy to have the number go up. Make it 200 or 300 kills if it's shared with people, because then I can jump in and whoever gets the kill, I don't have to, be so focused on it. As long as I make progress for it.
But as long as it's
someone's getting all those kills, it goes quicker.
As long as it ties in with maybe what the Nightfall is that week. I mean, I hate the fact that when you go into the strike rotation and you've got you have to kill a fallen boss, and in the 3 strikes that you get, there's no fallen boss come up. The Nightfall for that week isn't a fallen boss. So you have to go to the location, find a fallen boss, kill them. So you're kind of running around like a headless chicken trying to do X amount of extra grinding when you don't necessarily need to. If it corresponds to whatever the Nightfall is that week, it would be a lot less frustrating, I believe.
Agreed. I think that'd be, I agree with that across the game. Like I joked about earlier, when Scorch comes up, put in a couple of solar bounties. I'm not saying custom tailor, but a little, and I'm sure a lot of these systems are just random. Hey, here's our batch of things. Let's toss them out in there. And here's your bounties for the week. It'd be nice if they were a little bit like Arc Week, we had that, and there were like no Arc bounties at all. It's like, go play as Arc. Just kidding, don't go play as Arc. Just a little bit of parody in the game, of here's the thing we want you to do. Here's the thing where you can go do that without having to go, do other content you're not getting rewards from. But we'll see if that ever happens. But it feels all like just a big random button where, hey, we're gonna roll the dice and something's gonna come out, and that's what you're doing this week. Like trace rifles and bows are all, our gunsmith is all about trace rifles and bows all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Well, the bows. Hold on. Side topic. Have you tried the new bow yet? The new kinetic bow?
Yes, because I needed bow kills from the gunsmith, and that's the one I had on me because that's the one I dropped.
Yo, I got a good roll with opening shot, quick draw. Sorry, that's not the roll I'm talking about. It's Vorpal weapon, quick draw, and then I have a masterwork to reduce my draw time. My draw time is 5:58 on this thing, and I never liked kinetic bows. Everybody knows my favorite bow is the freaking arsenic bite, but this bow, this is a damn good kinetic bow with this roll specifically. I don't know what other rolls are like because I've been using this one, but damn, it's nice if you haven't tried it. We'll be sure to get info out ASAP. Take a drink. As to what will happen when planetary materials economy come to Destiny content vaulting. Reddit link. Prime Ingram's decrypting into a wrong class is a bug. Hey, that happened to you, right?
Andy.
Andy. Oh yeah. That's a Twitter link. Deej. A number of roles were recast so that they could continue development on Destiny during this time of global quarantine. Many of your favorite voice actors will return to their roles once global travel resumes. More on this in This Week at Bungie. Why does global travel need to be a thing? You're just recording their voice. Send them the lines, have them recorded in a studio, and send the recording back to you.
Where are you going to get to the studio? This specifically.
Name a broke voice actor that they have, right? They can find a studio.
Well, specifically, this is about, Dee talking specifically to the Guardians of Brazil. We've heard your reactions to the recasting of the Drifter loud and clear. Thank you for the feedback from each of you. We'll follow up. Because basically, there's a very popular voice actor in Brazil who's done the lines of Drifter that people have really taken to and really enjoyed. And because, for whatever reason, details, maybe, wherever this person is, couldn't get the lines recorded for Season of the Arrival. So there's a different voice actor, which caused a lot of people to go, oh, wait, what's happening? Why have you taken our beloved Drifter away? And now he's some other person. So,
or he lives in an area that's got worse broadband than me, so he can't record it and send it to them.
Right.
There is no area like that. Even Australia has better broadband than you.
Oh, no, there's 60 miles west of DC, my friend. there are areas in this country far worse than that. But yeah, and it's not just Brazil. There's other too I've seen, but that was specifically him responding to folks in Brazil saying, "Hey, this isn't a permanent change. It's just because pandemic, we can't get people where we need to get them to get things recorded, and in the future, they hope to either resolve that or at least get the original voice actors back in all of their roles."
Yeah, and on that note, Luke Smith via other avenues on getting rid of the 2 at this time. We're going to keep focusing on our efforts on the game itself. There is a lot of moving parts for changing the name, whether it's to work with platforms, string files, title screens, storefront work. It's a lot of work. There are a bunch of really successful games. That's something that we already talked about. Okay.
Yep. With 2's on the box, one of my favorites, Dota 2, springs to mind immediately. So yeah, it's more work to remove the 2 than it not to remove the 2. So it's Destiny 2 for the foreseeable future. Deal with it.
Destiny Infinite.
You missed the top bit with Cosmo.
What?
If you scroll up past DMG.
Yeah, I see it now. They're making some under-the-hood changes on how activities function when Season 12 launches, which they hope results in no noticeable changes in the activities themselves. We'll see how that works. Unfortunately, that change means the newest Pinnacle activity, Prophecy, may have to take a season off before it returns. They're working to bring it back as quickly as they can, and that is 2 Reddit links.
And that's the Prophecy Dungeon that may go away for a brief time.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Content vault.
Iron Banner will also not factor into skill matchmaking. That's 2 Reddit links. And Beyond Light will be available soon on PlayStation 4 for the pre-order. Twitter link.
Nice.
Ba-ba-ba-ba. With my
So-
very white voice. Love it.
Normally, about this time, we have story time with Respawn with his lore segment.
Yeah, Lord
Or-
segment.
As Respawn did ask for it, we have feedback from one of our listeners, not Arf. Now, because we're running quite long on this
I
episode,
did read that. We don't have to read that over the air, but just know that we got your feedback, and I've taken it into account when I was going to read this week's lore.
I think we should dissect it on the air. But if we can't get to it next week, it'll be the week after. Just it depends on what actually comes up that we need to
Yeah.
discuss. But we will get to it, and Respawn apparently does have some more lore for us. So there's another one for you to dissect, not half. So if we move on to tips, tricks, guides, and builds, and Peroty's going to help me this week because Peroty's looked over some of the videos. Sorry?
Nothing. The way you said it was just beep, bop, boop, bop, beep. Nothing.
Oh.
It's just me being me.
Okay. So we're going to move on to tips, tricks, guides, and builds, and Peroty's going to help me this week because he's helped look at a couple of the videos. There's been quite a lot this week that we wanted to kind of cover and get out there.
The first thing is going to be Cheese Forever's AFK farming build.
Okay.
So
you
what
tell
you
us
gotta
about
do-
that one.
Yeah, what you got to do is you got to go inside and get your light level as low as possible. What that means is if you open up your collections, you're going to have a class item that's white. That's going to be, I think, power level 12. That's a good place to start. So get that class item. If you were here for Halloween, you should have a mask that has 0 light level. That's another way to bring your armor down. Aside from that, you can go to vendors. I went to the EDZ for mine, and they have an armor set and a single weapon that is 750. So that's another way to get each of your armor pieces that you don't already have low light down to 750.
You're an amateur.
And
you really are an
at least
amateur.
one
I've got all
weapon.
that stuff
I'm
just sitting in my vault. Just saying.
I'm just saying, yeah. I
Running
don't
around
keep stuff that I
EDZs.
don't need.
That's not. Well, obviously, you do need it because you wouldn't have to go and reacquire it. I need it. I've got it. It's there. Done. Bosh.
Yeah. I also still have the white freaking auto rifle that we had from forever ago too. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So you want to get as low as you can. You want to get below 750. That's the benchmark right there, 750. So if you have all 750 weapons and all 750 armor, that one class item that's power level 12 will bring you below 750. So at the very least, you can do that. And what you do is once you're below 750 is you just log into you access a forge, just turn off your controller, leave it there. By the time you come back, you'll have a lot of these shadow engram things, right?
Umbral
And
engrams.
Umbral is another word for shadow. Look it up. So you have a bunch of those in your inventory, and then the currency that you use to focus it. Focusing is important.
Do you
So
know
start
what the
with the
currency
armor.
is called?
No. So start with the
Well, you're only
currency.
giving half the information then.
Well, I mean, fine.
So
I'll
your
let-
twisted energy is what you're going to need for that, I believe.
let me double check. Is it twisted energy?
Also, a very important setting, as Andy lamented the other.
No, it's altered it's altered element. Bleh. That's the currency. Altered element, not twisted energy.
Okay, I've got my new currencies. I'll have to read those tooltips at the bottom of my screen about the new currencies when I play the game now.
Yeah, but it is altered element, not whatever Peroty just said. So Anyway. Anyway, what you want to do is you want to focus the armor ones first. This is important because the armor ones have about a 30% chance to be pinnacle. And I mean really pinnacle, like 5 light above where you're at currently. And what I've been doing, he didn't specify how to do it in the video, but I've been doing it for a couple of days now. What I've been doing to get me to after a day and a half of doing this, I've gone from light level 1008, I think, 1008, 1010, all the way to 1043. And I haven't really done anything. I've done 3 raids, that's it, right? Not raids, strikes, and that's it. So you focus on the armor pieces until all of the armor pieces start dropping at about the same light, right? When there's only 1 or 2 light difference for the drops, then you go to the weapons. Get your weapons caught up to the armor, and then go back to the armor. That's going to jump you leaps and bounds as far as your light goes. So again, from 1010, 1044 in a day and a half. And I haven't even been playing.
So what he's saying is check out the Choose Forever
Forever will
video
do the rest.
and he'll point you in the direction.
And
Exactly. What to do.
There's a very important setting you need to check on your Xbox too if you haven't already when you set this up.
Oh yeah, Andy.
If your Xbox is set to turn off after a set amount of time because it's idle, turn that off, or otherwise your Xbox will turn itself off because you're idle, and you will be sad because you will be at work and not farming anything at all.
Also, there's a second Choose Forever video regarding this exact thing for PlayStation users and PC users that will allow you to load into the Forge by yourself. This decreases the load times so that you can farm more in less time. So it's a whole script thing. It's too much to get into right now, but Choose Forever has a video about the script for PlayStation and PC, so you can
I'll find
load
that
by
one
yourself.
and link that one for you as well.
Is it the Konami code?
It is not the Konami code. It's actual computer code that you have to type in.
Disappointed.
Yes.
So, seeing as Hunter Master Ice has jumped in there, Peroty, if you take us through the ones that you watched, and then I can finish off with the last couple of ones.
Sure. I started sort of from the bottom up, so
Okay.
I start from the top down. So I jumped around a little bit here. So I watched Unknown had a couple of videos. He goes over what he believes to be a gnawing hunger god roll, because apparently he has not gotten a gnawing hunger, and he got one to drop with the chambered compensator, tactical mag, zen moment, and kill clip, which is basically stability, and more stability. And then tactical mag also gives you a mag size increase. And the kill clip is amazing. I don't know why you're reloading your auto rifle, but it gives you more damage on that reload with a range masterwork, and he threw a counterbalance stock onto it. So his came out with a 46 mag size, and it's just a stable rifle. I mean, we've talked about the Gnawing Hunger. Unknown's got a good roll. You should go check out if you don't have one yet. It is out in the world. It's much easier to acquire now. You don't have to go play Gambit and Reckoning to get it. It's just
Unless
out there.
you want the curated roll, I guess.
Right, unless you're hunting the curated roll, but there are some other good rolls out there. Unknown also has another video where he reviews False Promises auto rifle, the new one from the season, which is a high impact frame 360 RPM auto rifle. His rolls with the fluted barrel for stability, ricochet rounds, stability and range, dynamic sway reduction for increased accuracy, and you heard it, stability, and unrelenting, which is the new perk that gives you when rapidly defeating targets, it triggers your health regen. Guardians and powerful combatants count for more than one kill. So basically, it's a laser beam that hits really hard and regens your health on kills. What's not to love about that? I played a handful of games so far in Crucible this season, and just false promises everywhere. It's really good right now in Crucible.
Yeah, I got a really good one that's got Overflow and Eye of the Storm on it, and that thing just
Overflow, my friend. You can't go wrong with Overflow.
I sent you a picture of it. I don't know if you saw it earlier, but I was like, "This one's for you, Peroty."
Overflow, my friend. Overflow is always good. So Choose Forever, the guy we never mentioned, just reminds you to go check out to the Bungie rewards page to get your free powerful engram. So go to bungie.net/rewards, get your engram, and also sign up for the rewards so you can learn about the other good things they'll give you. I will prompt Respawn to ask him if he watched the I Bet On Me Whispering Slab bow review and God roll suggestion.
I did not watch that. There's one of those out there?
So I Bet On Me does have a Whispering Slab review and God roll suggestion. I'll be honest, I watched it, but I know so little about the bows. The numbers he was giving out, I can't tell you if they're good or not. So I Bet On Me. 19, did you watch this one?
Yeah, I did watch this one. Yeah, he's mainly set up for PvP, and he's a hunter, so it's a bow setup on a Void Hunter with Oathkeepers, pairing it with the sidearm that you could get from one of the ritual quests. I can't remember what it's called. You'll remind me in a second. No.
What?
The sidearm that you could get from the rituals. Is it the
Buzzard?
Buzzard?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
So he paired it with the Buzzard, and it was working really well for him. And I can understand that if you get some really good rolls on this, how it would be quite viable. I mean, he says it's not up there with like Le Monarch in PvP, but for somebody that is good with bows, like Respawn, if you find the right perk combination for you and you set up your character as and when, then this is going to work really well.
Yeah.
But you did
with the
say that
bow,
you've got a good one.
Yeah, I have a few good ones actually. The one that I mentioned earlier is my favorite, like PvE one. My PvP one actually is opening shot with Archer's Tempo, because you're always going to 2-shot a Guardian, right? So with that in mind, if you tag him in the head with Archer's Tempo, your next shot is going to come out even faster, especially with this bow has a draw time of 576. So Archer's Tempo kicks in, you can fire off 2 rounds and kill that Guardian a lot faster than you can with some of these other bows that are out there right now. So yeah, like I said, you're always going to have to 2-shot a Guardian with any bow, even Le Monarch, unless they're sitting there taking the tick damage for some reason. So you might as well have a bow that's going to get those 2 arrows out quicker with a decent amount of accuracy. So there you go.
Yeah.
Let's see. So I did watch Night Demon / Houndish has an Umbral loot guide where he basically just goes over. It's a nice little refresher, or not even refresher. It's a nice little introduction to, the Prismatic Recaster, the Umbral Decoder, basically all the crap that's sitting down there next to the Drifter. You've got the thing on the wall, you've got the thing next to him, you have the Drifter itself, or himself. When you first start the season, you have to sort of dance between the 3 a bunch of times to progress your quest. He just goes over about, opening up the decoder immediately to get your drop. You can take that over to the Recaster to focus. Basically, the Recaster is what you're going to use to focus to your specific loot pool items. You can upgrade those as you go through the season. It's your Twisted Energy, which I was thinking of. You need to unlock the mods and the higher level perks to improve your Recasters so you can get those different focuses going. And you get your Twisted Energy from the Recaster weekly bounty and other drops in the world. So basically, he has a good overview on that, how that all works, how the system works. It's very similar to the bunker system of last year, where you've got to go, earn the materials, shove the materials into the thing, make the thing better, repeat, rinse. There you go. There's your season again. You just don't have to travel to 3 planets. You just go down and hang out with the Drifter to get it done. Cake.
The downside about the Whispering Slab, though, is you have to take off the Wither Horde to use it. So
Yeah, so none stars should not do. As we mentioned, the Kami Cakes, or Kami Cakes mentioned he was using the Wither Horde, which is just nuts in PvP. He calls it the anti-ape tool, because you can use this thing like a better Telesto, because I think he put a Telesto video out in Trials that we talked about last episode or episode before, where he pairs this with the Drang, and he says, you can pair it with a sidearm to clean up the kills, or a grenade, and basically you can just control areas of the map. You can use it to just throw the Wither Horde ammo down, take an entire area, it does that tick damage over time, and then just clean up with your Drang, your sidearm, just clean up with the kills. He just, gives his commentary as he jumps around and plays the map. I think it was on Rusted Lands, I want to say. Or no, it was.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, I can't, yeah. Rusted Land, where basically A and C are, you run back and forth, and the B's on the little tower in the corner. He basically just runs back and forth and stays indoors. It turns the entire area into taking goo and murdering everything in sight. Tossing a grenade or cleaning up.
Let's not skip over that. A direct impact will kill a Guardian flat out, and it will even kill a Guardian in their super. I saw Hush tag a freaking Spectral Blade Hunter, and it killed him before it got to him. So a Spectral Blade Hunter in his super will still get killed if you direct impact him with this gun.
Excellent. Yeah. So like Kimmy Kick says, it's nuts in PvP. It's also apparently nuts in Gambit right now. Everyone, I've seen a couple of people say there's 2 types of people in Gambit: those that understand how Wither Horde works and those that don't. So it's just going to be a nutty weapon for a while. And now we'll go from PvP to PvM. So JB3 took us on a tour outside the Interference, where he found what looks like the new Court of Oryx. That looks very similar to our original Court of Oryx and setup. And he said nothing there could be interacted with, but it had a huge taken ball in the distance, and it was, the carbon copy of the Court of Oryx. So whether it's coming back now or part of the content vault or something, it's, assets are there in the game.
And for those of us that haven't listened to the show before, PVM is player versus map.
Indeed. So JB3 also has hopped out of the map, also in the Interference, and he found a room filled with Guardians, Cabal, Hive, Fallen, and sort of a toy model pyramid ship. It looks sort of like character models, like they're all trapped in carbonite, just kind of hanging around, or possibly...
yeah, I was going to say, it looks like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, you could say they might be stone. That might have some tie into some sort of crypt that has been teased and talked about. So, sort of unsure, why why they're here. If it's some thing we're going to play, some new activity, or if it's just, models that laying around they were, Bungie was playing with, but it's there in the game as an asset. Gaming Animal has put together a video of the gear and items from the database. It's basically a big long video of he's teased sort of here's the items that are in the database that they farmed. He still mentions there are 106 classified items, so there's a lot more coming we don't know about. But it's a video of just sort of what guns and armor stuff is in the database that could be coming. And Gaming Animal did a second video where the Eververse database was mined with some tentative calendar items. And again, this is all subject to change, but if you're sort of curious what's coming out and you've been waiting for that Spot of Tea emote or your Pyrrhic Victory, it does have, what those are and how much Bright Dust you're going to need for them. So if there is something you're really looking forward to getting, that video is worth a watch just to say, hey, here's what's in the loot pool, whether it's coming next week or, in September, it's at least there in the loot pool, and here's the, how many thousand Bright Dust you'll need for it. So it was at least nice to watch and see what's coming and what's new and just what's out there available to us. And that's all I had time to watch in the hour. So I will turn over to Demon with the rest of the things that he watched that have more in-depth information.
Okay, so Iror has done a highest DPS for the Falling Guillotine Sword and the Temptations Hook. And this includes new mods and the new mod that you can get from the Drifter's new machine, and it's called Lucent Blade. It was available, I believe, on Wednesday at Reset. And with that, Fallout did a video on the Lucid Blade perk, or Lucid Blade mod for swords, and he's done testing with it. So Fallout plays video with the new armor mod testing the Lucid Blade, and you've got Iror, who's done the highest DPS testing the two new swords that we've got, which is the Falling Guillotine, which is like the Dark Drinker from Destiny 1, and the Temptations Hook, which is like the Boltcaster from Destiny 1. So, like I said, that includes the new mods and builds with it. So there's two videos there. MyFi has got the best PvE build viable in endgame activities for a bottom tree Voidwalker with Devour. Again, this is something that I believe that he put together a couple of seasons ago when we had the Void mods. And, you can get unlimited melees, grenades, supers, using the Nezarexin exotic helmet and a Void auto rifle or SMG, and the mods from the artifact, the Oppressive Darkness. So in the video, he shows you how to kind of put it all together and what activities you can use it in and how effective it is. Destiny Fun Police, if you are one of these people that's got the new exotic grenade launcher, the Wither Horde, Destiny Fun Police has put a video together of what you might need to do and weapon recommendations for getting 100 grenade launcher kills in PvP for the Catalyst, because there is a step on the Catalyst for that. Jarv has the highest DPS shotgun, better than the Xenophage video. And this is Chaperone, which has been around for quite some time. And he shows you with the Chaperone, and I believe it's the Blasphemer shotgun, because the changes with the shotguns, with the slug shotguns, their DPS has been changed. I think it was like 30% more in PvE. So he does a test on what's a better, higher DPS. And the Chaperone comes out on top with the Roadborne perk active, better than the Xenophage, which is the exotic machine gun. But again, it's situational where you would be using that. And I believe he said, pairing the Blasphemer with the Xenophage might be a good call for certain circumstances. Astacross has done a Perfect Aim Last Word video. So he's gone back over the changes to the Last Word because it's now got a hipfire grip buff. As Respawn, I believe, pointed out last week or the week before, kept shouting about it. It's now had the buff to it, and Astacross has put a video together of how amazing it is. Again, don't aim down sights, just hit fire.
Don't use the mouse. That's the other thing. He specifically tells you
if you're on PC,
do not use mouse and keyboard.
So go and check that out if you want to see damage numbers and the way to use it on PC. Now, if you've been wondering, like a lot of us have, what these new perks are and what they actually do on all these weapons that we're getting dropped, Cool Guy has a breakdown of the new perks and how they work and what maybe to look out for on the weapons. So Respawn's new favourite YouTuber, I Bet On Me, has a Trinity Ghoul Catalyst Easy 1-minute farm guide. So go check that out if you have got the Trinity Ghoul Catalyst to drop. He's got a guide on that. And I know you know how to do it, Respawn. Just pointing people in the right direction. Now, one that might be useful.
I was going to ask you, why is he my new favorite YouTuber? That was my question. I just learned of him like 2 minutes ago.
You found out about him last week. And
I Bet On Me? Oh, I like the name.
There you go. See, your new favorite YouTuber. Yeah. So one that might come up in the next couple of weeks with the Pyramidium and the Festering Core becoming Nightfalls. Glitch Tutorials has an invisibility glitch to PvE enemies for the Pyramidium and the Festering Core. So this might be useful for doing some Nightfalls. Hey. That's nudge. Wink, wink, wink.
I need buddies to do it with on Xbox or PC, man.
No, go talk to your PC friends. You said you're all PC now. You've left us behind.
Yeah, you've left us.
Fuzco. Paging Fuzco.
Yeah, no, we don't associate outside of raids. Fuzco can't stand me for that long.
So Unknown also has the best new 180 hand cannon, Nature of the Beast, PvP gameplay. Much like Peroty said, he's got a couple of good perks on the rangefinder. He just basically takes it into PvP and tests it out and shows you what it can do. And if you're as a good a player as him, then you may want to use it.
Which you're not, but you can try to be.
Yeah. T Glizzy has got an insane Witherhoard build for Titans and Stronghold Exotic Gauntlets using Charged with Light mods and the sword mod, the Lucid Blade. So that's one to check out. Cheese Forever has an easy heroic public event cheese guide for the new public events on IO. So go check that out if you are struggling, because once I've watched this and went and did one of those public events, I was able to cheese it so that we got the heroic to come up pretty easy for the rest of the noobs that weren't in the area. So now every time I do one, it always goes to heroic. So if more people know about it, then it works.
I'm definitely going to have to watch that. I've gotten heroic a grand total of once, and we couldn't even finish it.
Oh, with a horde and a sword with that new Lucid Blade mod. Oh,
amazing. That's what I was using, but I don't know, man.
Just make sure when the boss does show up that once you've got down to it goes down in 3 bars. Once you get it down to one point of the bar, make sure you go and looking for the blights. There's 2 blights that turn up at individual times in the area. You have to go to the blight, kill the ogre or kill the big boss there, then destroy the blight, then go back and destroy the boss. You only have I think it's 2.5 minutes to 2:45. Okay. So you have to go backwards and forwards.
Yeah,
it's pretty quick.
We're getting the boss low, but just can't kill him before the time runs out. And I guess I didn't even know to look for blights, so that's probably what's Yeah,
if you're not looking for blights and somebody else has gone off and they don't know how to solo it, then it can be harder. I mean, I was going off and soloing it because I did the Blade mod and the Witherhoard, and I was just like boom, 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 that was it, it's destroyed. And they're all still trying to chip away at the boss, even though he's got the shield on. I'm like, just stay there. I'll do this bit. You stay there. I come back, sword him again, go off and find another blight.
Right.
British Dad's here to take care of you.
British Dad will take care of you.
I hate you both.
You love us, don't lie.
No, I don't. And
not
finally,
even yours. That's awesome.
Finally, if you are curious of what the curated and random rolls are available for this season's weapons, Season of Arrivals, Aztecross has got you covered with his latest video. So we will link all of those. I think there's 29 or 20. No, it'll be 30 now because Respawn added another one for the PC. So there's about 30 videos for you to check out this week at your leisure. So you don't have to watch them all in one go like I do. Just as and when something comes up, go, I'm sure I heard somebody say that on Titans. We'll call it Titans. We don't mention Hunter. Just call it Titans. On the Titans podcast.
Somebody Marvelous. Sounds like they're a little jealous. Do-da.
And And I did. Are you done? I did want to add one more video.
31 videos.
Yeah, I did put it on the list. And I put it in the Discord here for you to add to the show notes.
Okay.
I saw somebody on Reddit that I, of course, lost who it was say, hey, I ran across this guy, Darren Barron, on YouTube who reads Destiny lore. And I was like, oh, that seems interesting. So he goes through and he just reads, the Destiny lore. He's apparently done like some, voice work and audiobook work. So he has a really nice reading voice. In keeping with the everyone who reads lore must have a fine accent. He is a fine British man reading you lore. Aww. And this week I put a link in for the False Idols. The Bungie put out on their blog or their site, the False Idol story. So I linked him reading that same story, and he's gone through lore books and it's read it. Just the video is just no video, it's just audio of him reading the lore entries. So if you're looking for a deeper dive of lore in the game and just want to listen to things, go check out Darren Barron, Darren Baron on YouTube. He's just does a phenomenal job just reading lore. It's lore, no explanation, no exposition, just lore as it is. So I enjoyed his reading of it. So if you're looking for lore, Respawn, you can check it out and listen to his lore reads.
But you just said you have to have a nice accent to read it, and I do not. I have a lisp. That's not an accent. So
well, just on YouTube, we're a podcast. That's totally different.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Peroty, there's a shout out that you want to give this week, isn't there?
Yeah, Speedy Thief. Yeah, he mows his. I remember the conversation. I said, you guys doesn't hear about how often you have to mow your lawn. It is every week. He's right. And Speedy Thief, that's why we provide you enough content to get through your mid to larger size lawns. Now, if you have a golf course, it might need a second show, like say the Guardian Hub or Massive Breakdown or Guardian Downcast. But our show will get you through most lawns you have to mow in a day. So, buddy, if you can't play the game, you need to at least listen to the game so you can come back to the game knowing and appreciating more. So thank you.
Man. If you got a hand weed eat a football field, we might not be the show for you.
Oh yeah, sir, our back catalog will absolutely take care of you. Just the last couple of the last month, you've got a good 12 hours show there. I mean, there's enough content there. We broke down every ritual weapon in the game and every pinnacle weapon for you fine people. There is some content there if you want to do a deep dive of the Two Titans of the Hunter.
And I wanted to give a shout out to the Xbox team that helped me get my Almighty Seal in the last week. The hard-coded victory. So that's the one where you had to do the Seraph Towers without failing. Because it got to Monday just before reset and I still hadn't done that. That was the only one that I hadn't done. And it wasn't like I hadn't tried. I'd sat around on many a EDZ, many a moon, just waiting for people to turn up. Maybe if I activate it, they'll all come. If you activate it, they will come kind of thing. No. So I ended up going onto the Xbox app and looking for people that were doing it. And literally within like 5 minutes of me looking, there was a team doing it. So unfortunately, if I miss your name out because you weren't in my fire team or I didn't manage to get you in the picture that I took at the end where there was a lot of people staying around, I do apologize. But we have Cross Empress 75, Danquist Jr., Bullet Fade, the Adapter JD, GTC 300, Kalsman Tree, and Svelte Sun 045. I do apologize if I missed you, but thank you very much for your help in getting me my hard-coded victory done.
And that is the Adapter DJ. The Adapter JD is his brother. DJ was the one who helped you out.
Words,
they fail him.
Yeah.
I was laughing because I remember I was talking to you on Monday and I was like, hey, how are you doing? How are things with Destiny? And you're like, well, trying to get this done, trying to find a team to do it. So I'm glad you got it done in the 11th hour of the 11th minute.
Editing a podcast, I'll sit on the EDZ and wait for people to turn up. Nobody.
Now you've cut
I
out.
thought I'll just look on the app.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
I am the only one allowed to talk.
Oh God, now we're in trouble.
No, see, we've just hit our talking minutes for this week. We're actually at the end of our talking minutes. You've got plenty left to go.
No, it's all right.
Yeah, well, I have unlimited. I've purchased the unlimited plan, so.
Unfortunately, we haven't. So I think it may be time for us to go.
No,
I think so. I think we've given the people pretty much everything we can give them, and I'm sure there's stuff we've missed because there's way too much there. But we'll be back again at this next week with 6 more hours of content for you.
Yay!
And with that, thank you for joining us. Your Titans are Peroty and Night Demon. Your Hunters. No one responds in real life. You can email the show, and please do, at twotitansandahunter@hotmail.com. We love getting your email. We love reading on the show. We love the feedback. You can find our show on Twitter at twotitans_hunter. You can hit us up on Instagram on instagram.com/twotitansandahunter. We're on Facebook or on YouTube at twotitansandahunter. You can join the Frozen Clan at join.frozen.party. That's Frozen with a 0. And hey, we're going to have Frozen Guardians soon. So the Frozen Clan, we were there when. You can find all your favorite Guardians on Xbox Live and Respawn on PC. You can watch the show on YouTube, listen to the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, and everywhere fine podcasts are sold. And friends, this week, what do you do in D2 with Trials until Trials returns? Well, DMG says you can play Comp, you can play General Crucible, you can do a PvE weapon grind via Umbrella Engrams, you can raid with your buddies, and outside the game, you should make some memes at their expense. Clean your room, it's filthy, and sometimes you just have to cry. So that, Guardians, until next week, say bye, Night Demon. Say bye, Respawn.
Bye, Respawn. Also, to add on to that,
You faded out now. That's it. It's gone.
Oh, no. But honestly speaking, though, if you shut up,
you know the music's playing. You're out.
Well, put this before the music. I'm going to put the Twitch link. That way they can watch that if they feel like it.
Nobody wants to watch a Twitch link. What Twitch link?
Well, somebody does. Apparently, since I've started recording for the YouTube, I've gone from having 1 follower to 36. So somebody's watching.
Nobody watches you.
Somebody may have... there may be a Discord out there where you're getting... the entire Discord gets notifications every time you go live.
What?
That may be where your new followers have come from.
That's a thing?
You haven't noticed your friends from Guardian Downcast hanging out with you every time you go live? It gets sent out in the notifications channel there?
No.
I asked Gator to add you to that channel a couple weeks back. So every time, Kingsley Mac or you or, Jealous Gaming goes live, and their live notifications on Guardian Downcast, it says, hey, Respawn's live. Here's his Twitch link. Go check him out. So you're welcome.
That's a thing that can happen. That's cool. How come we don't do that?
Because we're not good at this.
No, we're not good at this.